Chapter 158, Cloud Mountain Range. Chapter 158, Cloud Mountain Range. It is currently noon. Give me the cores at this time in 7 days. Then you will be counted as having passed the selection battle. Only then can you participate in the easternmost hunt in 2 months. Now, everybody enters the Cloud Mountain Range. After saying that the golden armored general was finished, several dozen figures in the field immediately glided towards the nearby mountain range without any hesitation. Jian Wushuang, Yang Zhaixuan, Su Rou, and the other 7 disciples of Dragon Palace suddenly moved forward as well. Shuiyin directly floated towards the Cloud Mountain Range too. On the way, he couldn't help glancing at Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang also glanced at Shuiyin. Shuiyin opened his mouth, slowly mouthed a few words. Although he did not speak it out, Jian Wushuang could understand the words. It was, "You are a dead man." Who dies first is still uncertain. Jian Wushuang's face was cold. In just an instant, the 68 Gold Core realm experts participating in the selection battle had already entered the Cloud Mountain Range. It was a remote mountain range, and normally few people entered it. But now, a fierce and bloody fight would be held there. "Jian Wushuang, good luck to you guys," said Bailey Chun. "Good luck." Jian Wushuang also nodded. Soon after, Bailey Chun and several other disciples of Dragon Palace scattered. The number of spirit beasts was just 15, with the same number of cores. That was to say, only a few people could get the cores. If the disciples of Dragon Palace dragons stayed together, their overall strength was enough to get some cores. However, the distribution of the cores would be a big problem. So they chose to fight separately. "Second brother, fourth sister, how about you guys?" Jian Wushuang asked. "I can get a core on my own," Yang Zhaixuan said coldly. "I also want to use my own strength to make it through the selection battle," Su Rou said. "All right, then we 3 will separate as well. We all must be careful. Even if it's not possible to get a core, don't worry about it. Staying alive is more important," Jian Wushuang said. Su Rou and I only have to face the ordinary experts of the earthly dragon list. You, on the other hand, have to face Shuiyin. You need to be very careful. Don't put yourself in a dangerous situation." With his lip curled, Yang Zhaixuan instantly left by himself. "Wushuang, you have to be careful," Su Rou said seriously. "Don't worry." Jian Wushuang smiled, but soon he took back the smile and asked, "Su Rou, let me ask you." After talking with Jian Wushuang for a moment, Su Rou left alone as well. Jian Wushuang touched his nose. Soon after, he raised his head and looked toward the giant mountain in front of him. "I'll just choose this one." With a smile, Jian Wushuang stepped forward and glided toward the mountain. The mountain was very huge. It took some time to find a spirit beast, even when the mountain was very quiet. But right at that moment, howl! A fierce roar sounded from another nearby mountain, followed by an extremely violent aura. Noticing the aura, the Gold Core realm experts in the Cloud Mountain Range all became startled. Yin-Yang Void Realm. As expected, it's a spirit beast in the Yin-Yang Void Realm. Judging from the aura, it should be an ordinary spirit beast in the Yin-Yang Void Realm. These Gold Core realm experts already understood. When they were informed by the Golden Armored General that there were 15 spirit beasts in the Cloud Mountain Range, most of them already figured out that those beasts should be in the Yin-Yang Void Realm. After all, the participants in the selection battle were all the most talented geniuses in Tianzong Dynasty. The weakest among them was strong enough to defeat the experts in the initial Yin Void Realm, while the strongest in the top 10 on the Earthly Dragon list could kill experts in the initial Yin Void Realm. In such a high-level selection battle, It was impossible for them to just face spirit beasts in the gold core realm. So when they noticed the aura of this spirit beast, none of them were surprised. The first beast has already been discovered. Not sure who will get it though, Jian Wushuang thought. But he quickly put the thought at the back of his mind. Instead, he paid full attention to this mountain, which also contained a spirit beast. 15 mountains, each with a spirit beast. Boom! A blazing energy suddenly roared from the top of the mountain. After immediately raising his head, Jian Wushuang saw a fierce spiritual power fluctuation. At the same time, he sensed a very violent aura. Ha! The spirit beast is over there. With his eyes glistening, Jian Wushuang glided towards the top of the mountain. At the same time, there were 3 other gold core realm experts who noticed. They also eyed this mountain. In just a few moments, Jian Wushuang and the other 3 appeared on the mountaintop, together with the gold core realm warrior who was already fighting that spirit beast. There were 5 people on this mountain. When Jian Wushuang appeared, the other 4 simultaneously looked towards him. It's understandable. Before the selection battle, Jian Wushuang had a fierce fight with Shui Yun, and the fight ended in a draw. His strength was already recognized by everyone. He was certainly one of the most terrifying experts in this selection battle. So naturally, he would draw attention. Jian Wushuang looked at the spirit beast in the center instead of the 4 experts. It was a leopard spirit beast with a purple pattern all over its body, like a purple cloud. The spirit beast was not big, but an astonishing and violent aura radiated from it. Demonic cloud leopard. Jian Wushuang smiled because he had already identified it. Soon after, he looked at the 4 and muttered, it should be easy for them to kill the demonic cloud leopard with their strength. However, they are waiting around. Apparently, they are worried about something. Jian Wushuang was right. All of them were worried about a few things, and he was their biggest worry. Jian Wushuang, we 4 found this demonic cloud leopard before you. It should be a contest among us 4. You go somewhere else, a red-robed woman among the 4 said. This red-robed woman was the strongest among the 4. She was also ranked 8th on the earthly dragon list. Demon girl Ling Shuer, ranked 8th on earthly dragon list. As per the ranking, Ling Shuer was higher than him. But having experienced the fierce fight between Jian Wushuang and Shui Yun before the selection battle, Ling Shuer felt some apprehension upon seeing him. This is a selection battle. Even if you guys get the core, I can still take it from you. Not to mention that you have not killed the demonic cloud leopard yet. You don't have the power to make me leave, Jian Wushuang said, and smiled coldly. While withdrawing the triple kill sword from its sheath, a fierce sword essence suddenly rushed out. If you are not willing to leave, then I will have to drive you out, Ling Shuer said coldly, with an aquamarine long whip in her hand. Chapter 159, 3 strips. Chapter 159, 3 strips. A whip. Jian Wushuang queerly smiled. Whoosh. The demonic and seductive figure of Ling Shuer instantly moved. Like a glamorous viper, Ling Shuer appeared in front of Jian Wushuang, flicking out the aquamarine long whip. At that time, many streaks of the waves were rolling without cessation. Jian Wushuang felt that he was sucked down by the whirlpool and the boundless seawater was squeezed toward him. With this level of strength, you are qualified to be ranked 8th on the earthly dragon list. Jian Wushuang smiled slightly and then struck out with the triple kill sword. Fiery wind sword essence suddenly rushed forward, forming a fiery wind dragon, which seemed to burn and tear up everything. In an instant, that endless wave was frantically scattered around with overwhelming strength. What? Ling Shuer was shocked. Previously, when she witnessed Jian Wushuang fighting with Shui Yun on the platform, she could tell that Jian Wushuang was strong, but she didn't know how strong. After all, she did not personally experience the power of Jian Wushuang's sword. But now, she was experiencing it. It's too strong. If I fight with him in close combat, I will instantly be defeated. Although Ling Shuer was shocked, she looked calm. When Jian Wushuang was stabbing towards her with his long sword, her figure began to retreat, with a streak of cold light flashing in her eyes. "Go to hell!" Ling Shuer roared. Then 3 streaks of flowing light pierced the air and appeared in front of Jian Wushuang at an astonishing speed. Concealed weapons. The corners of Jian Wushuang's mouth were quirked up. Too easy. A burst of sword essence of earth rushed out from Jian Wushuang's sword, easily parrying the 3 streaks of flowing light. While the streaks were falling down, Jian Wushuang recognized that they were 3 tiny willow leaf knives covered with a greenish-black liquid. Obviously, that was poison. "You are vicious. It's indeed correct to call you Demon Girl." Jian Wushuang and his sword shadow suddenly rushed forward. Ling Shuer could only try her best to brandish her long whip and parry it. However, Jian Wushuang's sword strikes were too fast and powerful. 6 moves were displayed in succession, and all of them were extremely powerful. After the 6 moves, Ling Shuer's hands were trembling and numb. Her face was pale, and her figure was quickly retreating. "Ling Shuer, if you get in my way again, I guarantee that you will not see the sun tomorrow." Jian Wushuang looked at Ling Shuer with cold eyes. Ling Shuer was ranked 8th on the earthly dragon list. Killing her would take a little time. Ling Shuer's expression became gloomy. Although she was furious, now was not the time to show it. But at that moment, suddenly there was a loud scream. Jian Wushuang and Ling Shuer immediately looked in the direction of the scream. Both of their expressions immediately changed. They saw the demonic cloud leopard standing on the ground with a corpse lying in front of it. The head, separated from the body, was in the mouth of the demonic cloud leopard. With a fierce chomp, the head was instantly crushed. What happened? Both Jian Wushuang and Ling Shuer were shocked. When they were fighting, the remaining 3 people began attacking the demonic cloud leopard. They were all experts on the earthly dragon list, ranging from the 30th to the 40th rank on the list. Logically speaking, any one of them could defeat a beast in the Yin-Yang void realm. It was more than enough to kill a demonic cloud leopard if they worked together. But instead, it was the demonic cloud leopard that killed someone. This demonic cloud leopard. Jian Wushuang looked at the demonic cloud leopard again, this time in astonishment. He was surprised to see that there were 3 purple cloud stripes on its abdomen. 3 stripes. Jian Wushuang was shocked. A 3-striped demonic cloud leopard. Ling Shuer was also shocked. Demonic cloud leopards, a kind of senior spirit beast, were rare in Tianzong Dynasty, and most of them were in the gold core realm. As for the demonic cloud leopards in the Yin-Yang void realm, it was estimated that only 1 or 2 existed in the whole Tianzong Dynasty. Demonic cloud leopards had 3 levels. The levels were based on the number of purple cloud stripes on their abdomen. The most normal demonic cloud leopard had only 1 purple cloud stripe. A demonic cloud leopard with 2 purple cloud stripes was very rare. As for 3 purple cloud stripes, it might not be possible to find 1 in 100 demonic cloud leopards. There was a huge discrepancy in the strength of demonic cloud leopards at each level. For a demonic cloud leopard in the Yin-Yang void realm, if it had 1 stripe, it was comparable to the most common experts in the initial Yin void realm. A 3-striped demonic cloud, leopard could absolutely be compared to an expert at the peak of the initial Yin Void realm, maybe even an expert in the profound Yin Void realm. When they arrived, they assumed the demonic cloud leopard was only a normal demonic cloud leopard with one stripe. No one had paid attention. Now, they realized it was a big mistake. I thought the 15 spirit beasts in the Cloud Mountain Range were common spirit beasts in the Yin-Yang Void realm. Apparently, I was wrong. Among the 15 beasts, there are some powerful and terrifying spirit beasts, such as the three-striped demonic cloud leopard, Jian Wushuang said in a low voice. After they discovered the three-striped demonic cloud leopard, a large number of experts in the Yin-Yang Void realm gathered in the air above the Cloud Mountain Range, overlooking everything below. They could see everything that happened in the Cloud Mountain Range from their position. Ha! These fellows really thought those 15 spirit beasts would be easily defeated. They underestimated the cruelty of this selection battle. It seems like all 15 spirit beasts are only in the normal Yin-Yang Void realm, but 3 of them are unique spirit beasts with strength that is close to the profound Yin Void realm. They are hard to deal with. This three-striped demonic cloud leopard is only the first one. There are 2 other spirit beasts that are close to the profound Yin Void realm, and they will soon come across these little fellows. How unfortunate for these little fellows. The experts of the Yin-Yang Void realm were casually talking. On the mountaintop, Jian Wushuang's expression had become cold. However, the gazes of Ling Shuer and other 2 earthly dragon list experts were filled with fear after seeing this three-striped demonic cloud leopard. The three-striped demonic cloud leopard is in the Yin-Yang Void realm. Even if I could fight it with my full strength, I'm afraid that I could not kill it. Squinting her eyes, Ling Shuer immediately made a decision and looked at Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang, you wanted me to get out of the way, right? So I'll leave. This demonic cloud leopard is yours. I hope you will cherish it and take good care of it. After that, Ling Shuer turned around without hesitation and left. Chapter 160, Fierce Fight. Chapter 160, Fierce Fight. After Ling Shuer left, the other 2 experts looked at each other and then left as well. None of them had the confidence to face this three-striped demonic cloud leopard in the Yin-Yang Void realm. On the entire mountaintop, Jian Wushuang was the only one who stayed to fight with this demonic cloud leopard. During 2 years of earnest cultivation in the Sword Tomb, my strength improved a lot. However, I have not used my full strength in a fight since I left the Sword Tomb. But this three-striped demonic cloud leopard, glancing at the animal in front of him, Jian Wushuang's eyes shined with battle intent. Indeed, since he left the Sword Tomb, he fought several times, but none of them were fierce battles. The opponents were too weak to be his match. The slaughter in Clearwater Stronghold was a good example. While facing 2 purple-masked assassins, he easily killed one of them. When he challenged the Heavenly Palace, he did his utmost, but the opponents were just puppets. Their strength was only enough to hold him back, not enough to be considered a life-and-death battle. Up till now, he had not experienced a truly fierce fight. Only a truly fierce battle would help him fully digest the progress he made in the Sword Tomb over the past 2 years. This three-striped demonic cloud leopard, which possessed battle strength close to the profound Yin Void realm, was completely capable of challenging him. Come on! With a monstrous battle intent, Jian Wushuang's body flashed like a flowing light and rushed forward like a sharp sword. Human! Demonic cloud leopard's eyes were blood-red and surging with potent killing intent. Being a spirit beast in the Yin-Yang Void realm, its intelligence was the same as a human. When the human expert captured it, it was told that it could live as long as it survived for 7 days. As a spirit beast, its survival instinct was very strong. Go to hell! With a roar, the demonic cloud leopard suddenly rushed forward with a speed that was even a bit faster than Jian Wushuang. It instantly appeared in front of Jian Wushuang, waving its sharp claws towards him. These claws seemed as if they could tear apart the world. Jian Wushuang simultaneously released the fiery wind sword essence. The triple kill sword suddenly rushed forward like a vast fire dragon. The eighth move of the formless sword art, Jian Wushuang used this move with his full power. Bang! Soon after, a deep collision was heard, and the demonic cloud leopard immediately retreated. In terms of pure power, I am stronger. Jian Wushuang smiled and muttered. He possessed a supreme gold core, so even in the profound gold core realm, his power was able to reach a whole new level. But the key reason was his sword art. Using the fiery wind sword essence with the formless sword art greatly enhanced his power. His strength was even greater than the demonic cloud leopard. Whoosh! Jian Wushuang displayed his second move, slashing out with the triple kill sword again. He used the eighth move of the formless sword art once more. But demonic cloud leopard wasn't stupid. It knew it could not win based on strength, so it aimed to win with its speed. With a dash, the beast evaded Jian Wushuang's attack. All four legs kicked against the ground as it opened its mouth and revealed its cold teeth, directly pouncing towards Jian Wushuang's head. This was exactly how the previous earthly dragon list expert died, while fighting with the demonic cloud leopard. Jian Wushuang did not panic at all. He immediately turned the fiery wind sword essence into earth sword essence, demonstrating the reincarnation sword skill. His long sword directly blocked the demonic cloud leopard as it closed in and prepared to pounce. Bang! With this collision, both Jian Wushuang and the demonic cloud leopard retreated backwards. This demonic cloud leopard moves pretty fast, and it's very flexible, Jian Wushuang muttered. This human, obviously the demonic cloud leopard, noticed that Jian Wushuang was much stronger than the person he just killed. After a short pause, they fiercely attacked again. As this was happening, it was all being watched by the experts gathered in the air above the Cloud Mountain range. What is that young man Jian Wushuang doing? Is he really fighting with the demonic cloud leopard? Stupid, really stupid. It's not easy to kill a three-striped demonic cloud leopard. He should leave that mountain and fight the other spirit beasts rather than wasting time fighting with this demonic cloud leopard. The other beasts are much easier. Exactly. It's stupid to fight with the demonic cloud leopard. Ling Shuer was smart. She chose to leave and immediately went to another mountain. She understood it's not easy to deal with this demonic cloud leopard. The spirit beasts in the mountain she went to have ordinary strength. Plus, she is the strongest expert there, so she has a very good chance of getting a core. Haha, he is not even scared of Shui Yun, not to mention this demonic cloud leopard. A silly boy. What an impetuous person. The peak experts were wantonly talking and laughing. The two palace masters of Dragon Palace, who were among them, wore sullen faces after hearing what they said. What is he doing? Why not just leave and go kill other spirit beasts? Palace Master White said and frowned. Among the peak experts, only one person understood Jian Wushuang's purpose. He was Di Shi. Is this little guy training himself, using this three-striped demonic cloud leopard to train? Training. Yes, he was training. It's been more than 2 years since Jian Wushuang took part in a fierce battle. The reason he fought with the three-striped demonic cloud leopard was not because he was silly or impulsive. He had his own purpose, which was to experience a fierce battle. He was eager for an intense fight. At the same time, during this fast-paced battle, He was gradually digesting the great progress he made over the last 2 years. Jian Wushuang and the demonic cloud leopard had been fighting for a long time on the mountaintop. Good. This feels so good. Sweat ran from Jian Wushuang's forehead, but he was getting excited. I have not been this satisfied for a long time. The opponent is just a spirit beast, but my whole body feels comfortable. But this is enough. Jian Wushuang raised his head and looked at the demonic cloud leopard. The demonic cloud leopard had erupted with its full strength in this fight just now. But Jian Wushuang had only displayed the fiery wind sword essence and earth sword essence. The former was used to attack, and the latter for defense. Offense and defense combined without leaving any flaws. However, he never displayed the water drop sword essence during the fight. It's time to end this. After taking a deep breath, Jian Wushuang violently stabbed out with his long sword again. But as the sword light rushed forward this time, what it contained was not the monstrous fiery wind sword essence, but torrential water drop sword essence. Suddenly, the sword light glided through the air like a mist, leaving a peculiar wave rippling in the air. The demonic cloud leopard immediately felt the sword essence surging towards it like the tide, from all directions. It slashed out with its claws, continually swinging and tearing, trying to escape from this flowing sword essence. However, the more it struggled, the deeper it sank. Chapter 161, Ouyang Haotian. Chapter 161, Ouyang Haotian. Just as I expected. To deal with such a speedy and agile spirit beast, water drop sword essence is the most suitable way. Jian Wushuang smiled slightly. Raising the sword and churning up a wave, Jian Wushuang appeared right in front of the demonic cloud leopard. The demonic cloud leopard's maroon eyes fiercely shrank. It waved its claws, barely managing to block the sword. But the sword move suddenly changed, using fiery wind sword essence and fiercely stabbing right through its body at an amazing speed. Puff! The demonic cloud leopard's body hit the ground with its aura fading. It was already dead. This caused a large uproar up in the air. Water drop sword essence. That boy has such high comprehension in water drop sword essence. He has shown his comprehension in the earth, gale, and raging fire sword essences, even managing to combine the gale and raging fire sword essences. But who could have expected that he also comprehended water drop sword essence? Mastering 4 kinds of sword essence at the same time. Even those top-class experts were a little stunned. Mastering 2 essences is usually the limit for most warriors. Mastering 3 is considered the true limit. Then what does mastering 4 essences mean? This kid comprehended 4 sword essences. So bold. Palace Master White repressed a sigh of admiration, with no hint of blame in her eyes. She had recognized long ago that Jian Wushuang was a super genius who was far beyond the average. Thus, he could not be judged using ordinary standards. His comprehension of water drop sword essence is so profound that he was able to transition from it to the fiery wind sword essence. He could have killed that demonic cloud leopard earlier. So, why did he wait until now? Palace Master Black asked, then shook his head while smiling. At the top of the mountain, right after killing the demonic cloud leopard, Jian Wushuang squatted down to collect the core. But right when he squatted down, clap, clap, clap. The sound of clapping rang out abruptly. Jian Wushuang's face stiffened. He looked over to where the sound was coming from and saw 2 figures walking slowly towards him. It's them. Jian Wushuang's eyes constricted. He knew the 2 men. He had encountered one of them before. It's Ouyang Haoyue and his big brother, Ouyang Haotian. Jian Wushuang scratched his nose. The two men coming towards him were exactly Ouyang Haotian and Ouyang Haoyue. Ouyang Haoyue had been holding a grudge against Jian Wushuang. The reason why Jian Wushuang ranked 10th on the earthly dragon list, so to speak, was that he defeated Ouyang Haoyue. At that moment, Ouyang Haoyue had said that when the selection of battle began, he would return twice the disgrace he got from Jian Wushuang. The three-striped demonic cloud leopard had battle strength close to the profound Yin Void realm. And you killed it by yourself. Your strength really is outstanding, said Ouyang Haotian, who wore a gloomy smile with coldness in his eyes. What do you want? Jian Wushuang looked at Ouyang Haotian with a frosty expression on his face. He directly ignored Ouyang Haoyue. With your strength, I wouldn't normally be interested in fighting with you for that core. But there is bad blood between you and my little brother, and I can't pretend I don't know about you bullying him, Ouyang Haotian said. Jian Wushuang, I told you over a month ago that I will return what I got from you that day twofold. And the time for that is today, Ouyang Haoyue roared with hatred. You'll return it to me twofold, with just the two of you? Jian Wushuang looked indifferent. Not the two of us. I alone am enough, Ouyang Haotian said, with a hint of absolute confidence in his smile. Jian Wushuang looked over at him. Not long ago, Ouyang Haotian had defeated Yin-Yang, who ranked 3rd on the earthly dragon list, and took her place on the list. His strength was undoubtedly formidable, but Jian Wushuang wouldn't bear him in mind with such a battle record. What surprised him was, why is Ouyang Haotian so confident? Why don't you come and try? Jian Wushuang's voice was cold, and the sword essence that once ceased was explosively surging from his body again. Hee, I won't let you down. Just as Ouyang Haotian's voice spread out, his figure rushed forward. He appeared in front of Jian Wushuang, with a streak of ice-cold light suddenly shining. He was holding a long, pitch-black spear, its head glittering with a metallic luster under the sunshine, incomparably dazzling. Soundlessly, the long spear thrust towards Jian Wushuang. Water drop and earth essences. Jian Wushuang squinted his eyes. He recognized the water drop and earth essences. Not only that, they were combined together. Obviously, Ouyang Haotian was also an absolute genius who could combine two essences. Among the 68 geniuses who participated in the selection competition, there were no more than 5 who had achieved the combination of two essences. Ouyang Haotian was one of them. Humph! Jian Wushuang sneered and chopped out with his triple kill sword, straight from the sheath near his shoulder. Shwa! It cut through the air. The sword's edge landed directly on the ice-cold spearhead, with the fiery wind sword essence bursting to its limit. Pia! A blast roared. The long, pitch-black spear tilted, but it quickly thrust out like poisonous snake's tongue. Shoo! 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 Whips of spear shadows stabbed toward Jian Wushuang in rapid succession, with each of the shadows aimed directly at his throat. Jian Wushuang, leisurely and unhurried, fended off the spears with the reincarnation sword skill. Clang! 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 The sound of continuous clashes burst out. The spear shadows were extremely fast and attacked at tricky angles, forcing Jian Wushuang to keep retreating. Dozens of spears thrust out. Although all of them were blocked by his reincarnation sword skill, Jian Wushuang has forced back tens of feet until he finally crashed into a giant tree on the mountaintop. Crack! The giant tree, tens of meters high, exploded from the center. Jian Wushuang managed to regain his balance, then brushed the wood chips off his shoulder. He roused his strength, instantly causing the muscles and bones in his body to make loud, cracking sounds. Then Jian Wushuang looked toward Ouyang Haotian. His voice was cold and hard as he said, "Ouyang Haotian, please don't tell me this is all you've got." "Oh." Ouyang Haotian raised his brows and said, "It's true that the strength I just showed is not a threat to someone like you who killed a three-striped demonic cloud leopard by himself. So?" An intense light flashed in Ouyang Haotian's eyes. Then his body rushed forward like lightning. The ice-cold spear shadow pierced through the air like an electric drill, instantly appearing in front of Jian Wushuang. The same spear move. Jian Wushuang looked indifferent. It seemed to be the same as the first move Ouyang Haotian demonstrated just a moment ago, because the essence comprehension in the move was being suppressed. While still being cautious, Jian Wushuang immediately chopped toward the spear shadow with his triple kill sword. However, when the spear shadow collided with the triple kill sword, what? Jian Wushuang's face changed immediately. Chapter 162, Half-Step Yin-Yang Realm. Chapter 162, Half-Step Yin-Yang Realm. It seemed like the same spear move, but when the spear clashed with the triple kill sword, Jian Wushuang sensed a tremendous power pass through his hand, instantly numbing his arm and forcing him to quickly retreat. Jian Wushuang hit the trees behind him again, but this time he didn't stop until he had smashed 3 giant trees. Jian Wushuang's forehead nodded as he frowned, and the blood in his body was slightly turbulent. His strength suddenly increased so much. Jian Wushuang looked towards Ouyang Haotian again, noticing a dramatic change in his spiritual power. His aura, Jian Wushuang's eyes froze. He could feel that the aura given radiating from Ouyang Haotian was far beyond the exceptional gold core realm, but still slightly below the Yin-Yang void realm. It seemed like something between the gold core realm and the Yin-Yang void realm. Half-step Yin-Yang realm. Jian Wushuang understood immediately. The realm between the gold core realm and the Yin-Yang void realm was the half-step Yin-Yang realm. It resulted when a gold core realm warrior forcibly repressed his realm when it was breaking through to the Yin-Yang void realm. But under normal circumstances, no one would choose to do so. After all, a gold core realm warrior would naturally strive to break through, who would repress his own realm instead of ascending to the next level. Therefore, the half-step Yin-Yang realm was rarely seen in the Tianzong dynasty. Ouyang Haotian was obviously in the half-step Yin-Yang realm. You noticed? Ouyang Haotian sneered while looking at Jian Wushuang, then said, "If it wasn't for the easternmost hunt happening so soon, I would have been in the Yin-Yang void realm half a year ago. But I suppressed my realm so I could join the hunt." Jian Wushuang, you do not understand the pain of suppressing your cultivation when you are able to break through to a higher level, do you? I sacrificed so much just to perform better in the easternmost hunt, and you will be my first stepping stone. After killing you, my next goal will be Shui Yun. Ouyang Haotian's voice rang out coldly as he was slowly walking toward Jian Wushuang. Up in the air, those top experts were also in a tumult. Half-step Yin-Yang realm. Is it the half-step Yin-Yang realm? This little guy from the Ouyang clan is amazing. These experts were quite shocked. The half-step Yin-Yang realm, although not a complete Yin-Yang void realm, was much stronger than the gold core realm. Brother Ouyang, this time the Ouyang clan has trained an extraordinary little guy. Congratulations! With a cultivation at the half-step Yin-Yang realm and the combined earth and water drop essences, Shui Yun may be the only one with enough strength to overshadow him among the gold core realm warriors in this selection battle. There should be a place for this little guy in the 15 geniuses from this selection battle. He should also perform very well at the easternmost hunt. He might even be picked up by those old sections. If so, the entire Ouyang clan would gain great benefits. All these experts were complimenting him. The person receiving their compliments was a white-haired old man, the present master of the Ouyang clan, who was smiling from ear to ear while listening to their flattery. If a great genius from a clan joined an old sect, the whole clan would gain huge influence. The core disciples of those old sects will even be sought after by small empires like the Tianzong dynasty. On top of the giant mountain, Jian Wushuang was still struggling in his fight against Ouyang Haotian. Shoop, 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 shoop. Streaks of spear shadows thrust coldly toward Jian Wushuang, each shadow piercing the air with immense power. Jian Wushuang could only fend off these spears by using the reincarnation sword skill to the limit of his ability, but the gap between their strengths was slowly exhausting him. My cultivation, which is in the profound gold core realm, is only on par with the exceptional gold core realm, because my supreme gold core can enhance my power by 100-fold, but it still can't compare with the half-step Yin-Yang realm. Jian Wushuang shook his head. His current level of cultivation was not strong enough. If he could reach the exceptional gold core realm, with the support of his supreme gold core, he could match a normal Yin-Yang void realm, which was stronger than Ouyang Haotian. But for now, he was still weaker than Ouyang Haotian because he was in the profound gold core realm. Since I can't defeat him with strength, I'll have to depend on my comprehension. A billowing battle intent flashed in Jian Wushuang's eyes. In 7 days there would be a life and death battle between Shui Yun and him, and Shui Yun was far stronger than Ouyang Haotian. If he could not defeat Ouyang Haotian, then fighting Shui Yun would be the same as putting his head on the chopping block. Haha, go to hell. Ouyang Haotian laughed as the spear in his hand began to change its movements. The spear sometimes slashed out, swung up, pounded down, and thrust forward with a cold light from time to time. The spear moves, perfectly combining the earth and water drop essences, was incredibly powerful. As he struggled to fend off the attacks, Jian Wushuang's face suddenly changed. Then he stared at the movements Ouyang Haotian displayed, and his eyes flashed as he sensed the realm embedded in the spear moves. This spear move, water drop essence. Water drop essence can be used this way? At this moment, Jian Wushuang had an epiphany. In the 2 years he meditated in the sword tomb, it took him only 1 year and 3 months to combine the Gale and Raging Fire sword essences. He spent the remaining time trying to combine a third sword essence. He had experienced some enlightenment during the following months. But regardless of whether it was the Earth Sword Essence or the Water Drop Sword Essence, he was missing something crucial that prevented him from combining either of them with the sword essences of Gale and Raging Fire. It was indeed the little things that he missed that troubled him for a long time. But now, seeing the endless water drop essence that was bursting from Ouyang Haotian's spear moves, Jian Wushuang was inspired, and the thing he was missing gradually became clear. Boom! The long, pitch-dark spear struck out like a majestic mountain, which Jian Wushuang barely managed to ward off with his sword. A loud bang rang out as the power exploded, and then Jian Wushuang's entire body sank down into the ground. "Prepare to die, you little brat." Ouyang Haotian laughed, and then pierced forward with his spear directly toward Jian Wushuang's heart. But Jian Wushuang suddenly hacked out with his sword, making Ouyang Haotian immediately withdraw. "What?" Ouyang Haotian looked at Jian Wushuang in surprise. At this moment, Jian Wushuang had already struggled out from where he had sunk into the ground and lifted his head. A touch of a weird smile emerged on his cold face. "I have to thank you, Ouyang Haotian. If it were not for you, I would not have broken through so quickly." Jian Wushuang's eyes sparkled. At that moment, the triple kill sword in his hand had the sword essences of Gale, Raging Fire, and Water Drop perfectly combined together. Chapter 163, The Combination of 3 Sword Essences. Chapter 163, The Combination of Three Sword Essences. Breakthrough. Though Ouyang Haotian's face changed, he still sneered and said, "It won't be enough to save your life." As soon as the words finished, Ouyang Haotian launched another attack. A spear shadow immediately struck out like a flickering serpent's tongue. While watching this with cold eyes, Jian Wushuang clenched his triple kill sword and combined the sword essences of Raging Fire, Gale, and Water Drop. The long sword instantly turned into a flowing light, slashing forward through the air. Selfless sword technique. The first move. Bang! The sword light collided with the spear shadow, splitting the inky long spear in half. Then the powerful sword light continued, hacking straight through Ouyang Haotian. Whoosh! Jian Wushuang appeared beside Ouyang Haotian at the same time. Speaking slowly with a cold voice, he said, "This is the first time I have used this move in the selection battle. Consider it your honor to be killed by it." After hearing what Jian Wushuang said, Ouyang Haotian widened his eyes with an unbelievable expression. Then his body slowly collapsed. It was not until Ouyang Haotian landed on the ground that his blood began flowing from the center of his forehead. Looking closely, there was a huge sword scar that ran from the center of his eyebrows to the lower half of his body. This sword scar ended his life. Ouyang Haotian, ranked third on the earthly dragon list in the half Yin-Yang realm, was killed by a single move. In the air above the Cloud Mountain range, there was a tense atmosphere surrounding the many experts that were watching this battle. As they watched Jian Wushuang and Ouyang Haotian continue fighting, they began talking and laughing. "Look, those two guys are still going at it." "Ha, still. But it's obvious that Jian Wushuang is being completely suppressed. It's normal. In this selection battle, Shui Yun is the only one who is stronger than Ouyang Haotian. As for the others, there's no one who could be his equal. Not the second on the earthly dragon list, Bailey Chen, and not Jian Wushuang either. This guy is really impetuous. It was understandable for him to have a fierce battle with demonic Cloud, Leopard, if you consider its strength. However, there is a distinct gap between them in the strength. He is just being foolish by fighting with Ouyang Haotian. Does he want to die? Ha, he is a little silly." These experts continued talking casually, but Palace Master Black and Palace Master White showed unnatural expressions while listening to them. What the hell is he doing? Why isn't he escaping? He is obviously unable to compete with Ouyang Haotian. Palace Master White's forehead scrunched up tightly. Then, suddenly, something strange happened on the battlefield. Jian Wushuang forced Ouyang Haotian to retreat with a sudden outburst from a single move. When such a fantastic move was displayed, those experts watching from above were all attracted by it. The sword light fell, and Ouyang Haotian died instantly. Silence. Dull. Dozens of experts had been watching this battle from above, and all of them were stunned at this moment. A few minutes ago, some of them regarded Jian Wushuang as foolish and impetuous, but now, Ouyang Haotian had been killed in a single move. Was he really impetuous? Foolish? The combination of three sword essences. Seeing that even the Emperor Di Shi, who sat in the center on a throne, couldn't help standing up with a bright light flashing in his eyes. Three sword essences. Exactly. That move didn't just contain three sword essences. It combined all three of them perfectly. He actually combined three sword essences in such a perfect way. It's no wonder he was able to increase his strength in such a short period. Those experts exclaimed in surprise. When combining sword essences, the power naturally became stronger. The power of two combined sword essences was much stronger than only one sword essence. As for the combination of 3 sword essences, the strength would increase explosively. Jian Wushuang used to conjecture that if he combined 3 sword essences, his fighting strength would at least triple, but his strength had actually increased by a factor of 5. This rapid improvement in strength made it possible for him to kill Ouyang Haotian, who was in the half-step Yin-Yang realm. It's extraordinary for a warrior in the gold core realm to combine 2 essences. No more than 5 people in this selection battle can combine 2 essences. Someone who can combine 3 essences is more truly an exceptional genius. Dishi said in a low voice, and then he looked at Palace Masters Black and White, then asked, "How old is he?" "Your Majesty, Jian Wushuang is 19 years old this year," Palace Master White directly responded. "Only 19 years old, not even 20 years old." Even She couldn't help exclaiming after hearing his true age. The other experts were also shocked. Was it possible for a 19-year-old kid to combine 3 sword essences? "This young guy definitely has a promising future," Dishi said. Hearing this, Palace Master Black smiled. It reminded him of what he had said when Jian Wushuang challenged the Dragon Gate. "He is very promising. If we give him chance to grow, he'll definitely become a top expert in Dragon Palace. Even ascending the Heavenly Dragon list will not be a question." However, as such an exceptional genius, he faced several assassination attempts from Blood Feather Tower. Palace Master White said in a cold voice, involuntarily looked at Greyrobe. "Assassination attempts." Dishi's face fell as he looked at Greyrobe. "Your Majesty, the assassination was ordered by the Tower Master, and it's a Scarlet Kill command. If there are any questions or issues, Your Majesty, you would have to speak directly with Tower Master," Greyrobe replied. Dishi's pupils slightly shrunk. Although he was the monarch of the Tianzong dynasty and the strongest expert ranked on the Heavenly Dragon list, he was unwilling to make contact with that Tower Master unless he had to. Simply put, the mysterious Tower Master of Bloodfeather Tower was an insurmountable person. 2 years ago, when Dragon Palace crazily seeking revenge on Bloodfeather Tower, that mysterious Tower Master personally went to Dishi and convinced him to order Dragon Palace to stop. "Leave it alone." Dishi waved his hand and then sat down again. But the other experts in the area were still having trouble recovering completely. At this moment, Palace Master Black and the Palace Master White were laughing loudly and feeling very delighted. Some people were happy, but others were distressed. Like the elder of Ouyang clan, this white-haired old man turned his face away with an extremely gloomy expression. His heart was full of joy just a moment ago, but the most excellent person in the Ouyang clan, the one that most likely to be accepted as an exceptional genius by those ancient sects, was killed in front of him. How could he not be angry? His heart was bleeding. Now, those experts who flattered and envied him before were all looking at him with pity. Chapter 164, 7 Days. Chapter 164, 7 Days. At the summit of the mountain, while watching Ouyang Haotian's body fall down, Ouyang Haoyue's original cold-smiling face instantly turned pale. Brother, how could it be possible? How? Ouyang Haoyue couldn't believe it. Just now, his brother completely overpowered Jian Wushuang. But in a matter of seconds, it had been reversed. His brother had died by Jian Wushuang's sword. Your brother is dead. Now it's your turn. Jian Wushuang's cold eyes suddenly looked towards Ouyang Haoyue. That look was enough. Ouyang Haoyue was scared out of his wits. He attempted to flee, but he was much slower than Jian Wushuang. A beam of sword light flashed past Ouyang Haoyue's body, instantly killing him. After combining 3 sword essences, Jian Wushuang could already kill Ouyang Haotian, who was in half-step Yin-Yang realm, with one move. Killing Ouyang Haoyue was a piece of a cake. The moment Ouyang Haoyue was killed by Jian Wushuang, a chair suddenly cracked up in the air. The leader of the Ouyang clan stood up, with his hair and long beard billowing out, generating an overwhelming aura. And his eyes were burning with fury. Seeing this, everyone understood why this white-haired old man was so angry, and they didn't say anything. Seriously. Though the Ouyang clan was one of the 7 top clans in Tianzong dynasty, it was rare for such a genius to appear. They were lucky enough to have 2 genius born in this generation, and they were brothers. However, both of them were killed by the same person in this selection battle. If it was anyone else, they would definitely be angry as well. If it was anywhere besides the selection battle, the white-haired old man would have already killed Jian Wushuang. At the summit of the mountain, Jian Wushuang directly sat cross-legged on the ground and started recovering his spiritual power after killing the Ouyang brothers. These 2 successive battles had consumed a lot of his spiritual power. How are second brother and fourth sister doing? Jian Wushuang wondered, but he was not actually worried about it. With his strength, Zaishuan could rank in the top 10 or above on the earthly dragon list. Even without being reckless with his strength, it would not be difficult for him to get a core. After all, only those who ranked in the top 5 could threaten him. Among the top 5, Shui Yun, an exceptional genius, ranked first, and no one dared to challenge him. Therefore, as soon as he got a core, he would stop fighting. Bailey Chun was a disciple of Dragon Palace and ranked second. He would definitely not challenge Yang Zaishuan. Ouyang Haotian, who ranked third, was killed by Jian Wushuang. Mu Yingying and Feng Yuqian, ranking 4th and 5th respectively, could threaten Yang Zaishuan. However, even if Yang Zaishuan couldn't defeat them in a head-on competition, he was able to save his own life. As for Su Rou, Jian Wushuang knew Su Rou had many secrets, and she was also full of tactics. All the warriors in the selection battle, even the strongest, Shui Yun, might be unable to truly kill her. I already have a core. I need to use the next few days to prepare for the battle with Shui Yun. Jian Wushuang's eyes were shining. The selection battle lasted for 7 days, and today was only the first day. Before the selection battle ended, he would definitely confront Shui Yun. Therefore, he needed to be well prepared. For that reason, he stayed on the top of the mountain and made his preparations for the battle with Shui Yun. Throughout the Cloud Mountain Range, the fighting and killing continued. On the first day in the Cloud Mountain Range, 68 Gold Core realm experts experienced the fiercest and craziest fights over the 15 beast cores. Of the 15 spirit beasts, 3 of them almost reached profound Yin Void realm, while the other 12 were in the initial Yin Void realm. However, they were all killed within half a day. After the spirit beasts were killed, the Gold Core realm experts fiercely fought with each other. Among the 15 mountains, fierce fights happened on the top of almost every mountain. In a single day, all 15 cores had been claimed, and less than 30 Gold Core realm experts were still alive in Cloud Mountain Range. 68 Gold Core realm experts joined the selection battle. However, only a day later, more than half of them had been eliminated. Among those who were eliminated, 90% of them were killed in a fierce battle. Only a few of them left the Cloud Mountain Range, realizing that the selection battle was horrifying, and because they lacked confidence. The remaining Gold Core realm experts who didn't get cores lingered on, looking for opportunities. After all, the selection battle would last for 7 days. On the second day, it was quiet during the day, but during the night, a fierce fight took place again, after 3 experts joined together and sneak attacked another expert who possessed a core. Though it was not as fierce as the first day, Several experts were eliminated. On the third day, there was a fierce fight in the Cloud Mountain Range that caused a lot of noise. It was the battle between Yang Zishuan and Ling Shuer. Ling Shuer, ranked 8th on Earthly Dragon List, had once competed with Jian Wushuang for a short time, while Yang Zishuan, who was unknown before and was not even on Earthly Dragon List, made his name known to all after this battle. During the battle, Ling Shuer tried her best to keep the beast core. However, Yang Zishuan directly killed her with a thunderbolt attack. After the battle, the experts who were watching from the air thought Yang Zishuan was qualified to rank in the top 5. On the 6th day, the last day was almost here. All the Gold Core realm warriors who did not have a core could not wait any longer, so they all acted. So did Su Ro. Su Ro had kept a low profile during the selection battle. It was not until the 6th day that she joined with some others and killed a warrior with a core. Then they fought for the core, which was taken by Su Ro. Then she was besieged by several Gold Core realm warriors. However, even after they used all their skills, they could do nothing to her. She was like a ball of cotton, which could not be crushed or smashed. In the end, she succeeded in getting a core. On the same day, Qing Tsang, the disciple of Dragon Palace who ranked 6th on the Earthly Dragon List, was sneakily attacked by several Gold Core realm warriors and eventually killed. Other disciples of Dragon Palace could only feel sorry for him. Finally, it was the last day of the selection battle. After sitting at the top of the mountain for 6 days, Jian Wushuang opened his eyes with a sharp light shining in them. "It's the last day. Come on." After saying that, a sharp sword essence radiated from his body, soaring into the sky. Chapter 165, The Soaring Sword Essence. Chapter 165, The Soaring Sword Essence. It has completely calmed down in the Cloud Mountain Range. Everything was silent. Suddenly, an incredible sword essence rose like a giant dragon that has been sleeping for millions of years. The sky discolored, and the earth instantly began to shake. Throughout the Cloud Mountain Range, Gold Core realm warriors who had a core and those who do not were both alarmed at this moment. This sword essence. What a terrifying sword essence. This simple sword essence frightens me to the core. It's so strong. Right now, among the people still alive in the Cloud Mountain Range, there is only one person can release such a powerful sword essence, Jian Wushuang. The warriors were frightened, but at the same time, they also understood what Jian Wushuang wanted to say. With a sword in hand, no one is my match. Indeed, he had the strongest understanding of sword principle in history. Haha begins. Those experts who had gathered together in the air were now in an uproar. The battle between Jian Wushuang and Shui Yun will be exciting. Before, Jian Wushuang had absolutely no chance to win against Shui Yun, but now it's a different story. The combination of 3 sword essences qualifies him to fight against Shui Yun. Not only that, the outcome is unpredictable. These experts were discussing it. Before the selection battle, Jian Wushuang had met with Shui Yun once, but they were just greeting each other, and Shui Yun did not use his full strength. At that time, people knew the two would have a fight, but no one had faith in Jian Wushuang. After all, Shui Yun was too strong. However, on the first day of the selection battle, Jian Wushuang's strength greatly improved when he combined 3 sword essences together. Moreover, he killed Ouyang Haotian, who was at the half-step Yin-Yang realm with 1 sword move, which made everyone realize that his strength was strong enough to fight against Shui Yun. Today was the last day of the selection battle. This day only belonged to Jian Wushuang and Shui Yun. A battle between peak geniuses that rarely appeared each decade in the Tianzong dynasty was about to start. after the incredible sword essence soared toward the sky, creating a loud booming sound, a terrifying aura rose from the peak of another mountain. This aura was cold and dark. It seemed that this aura could swallow everything in the universe. The instant that the aura rose, the world turned dark. The master of this aura naturally became the king in this world of darkness. A sword essence that could control the world. An aura that could swallow everything. They rose and confronted each other from a great distance. The whole world became silent, and all the warriors in the Cloud Mountain range were holding their breath, staring at the soaring sword essence and the terrifying dark aura. No one dared to say anything. No one dared to move at all, for they were afraid that the slightest movement would make them a target for the soaring sword essence and the dark aura. When the sword essence and aura finally reached their peaks, dung, dung, deep footsteps were heard. Although the sound was very low within the silent Cloud Mountain range, it was like a huge drumstick beating on the hearts of everyone, making every warrior's throat go dry. The summit battle. Standing at the peak of one of the mountains, young Zhaixuan watched everything with great intensity. Although he was supercilious, when he saw the soaring sword essence and dark aura, he did not dare to get involved with them. This is the battle between the greatest geniuses in our Tianzong dynasty. Bailey Chen also sighed. Unfortunately, the one fighting against Shui Yun isn't me. The moment that Jian Wushuang's soaring sword essence was released, he knew that Jian Wushuang was stronger than him. Third brother. Standing on a high place, Su Ro frowned slightly. There was a little expectation, but even more worry in her eyes. Outside the Cloud Mountain range, near to the edge of the mountains, a large number of warriors was gathered. The last few days, these warriors had been standing here, watching the Cloud Mountain range. Although there were few things they could see, they were still very excited, and their enthusiasm was not reduced at all. When the soaring sword essence and the dark aura suddenly appeared, the crowd became excited. That's Jian Wushuang and Shui Yun. Ha! On the last day, these two monsters are finally going to fight. The summit battle. This is the battle between two peak geniuses of the Tianzong dynasty. This battle is bound to be written into the Millennium Chronicle of the Gladiator Arena. I have been waiting so many days for this unprecedented battle. Numerous warriors were shouting in excitement and shock. This was a battle that would shock the world. Even if the battle had not yet begun, the soaring sword essence and the dark aura that could swallow everything were enough to make them crazy and excited. It remains unknown who will have the last laugh. Ling Feng, looking a little pale, was also standing at the edge and staring forward. He was also one of the Gold Corps realm warriors who participated in this selection battle. However, he only spent one day in the Cloud Mountain range before giving up without any hesitation. He understood the horror of this selection battle very well. Now, the two strongest candidates were going to fight. Senior brother. Next to Ling Feng, Jian Menger clenched her teeth, her heart filled with unwillingness. One of the participants that drew everyone's attention at this moment was the person that she had once looked down upon from the bottom of her heart. She even thought he was trash and would never have any good prospects in his lifetime. But now, this man had already gone somewhere far beyond her reach. Even if it was Lin Feng, who she adored, he was far from being able to compare with that person, let alone her. If I had left him some leeway at that time, Jian Menger thought of this, but she did not dare to think further. She knew that Jian Wushuang had a trace of affection for her when they were young. If she was not so self-conceited at that time, or she left a little leeway for Jian Wushuang, perhaps they would be together right now. But now, everything was gone. Rat-a-tat, rat-a-tat, rat-a-tat. The footsteps were heard constantly. Under everyone's gaze, two figures slowly walked out from two different directions. One of the figures had turned into a sharp sword, shattering the earth and flying to the ninth heaven. Another figure was just like a behemoth from legends that could swallow everything, overwhelming everything in the universe. The two people had already become the focus of everything. With only a kilometer between them, the two appeared in the vast plain in front of the Cloud Mountain range. At this moment, they both looked up at nearly the same time, as if their real eyes collided in the air. Whoosh! Suddenly, Jian Wushuang's body disappeared. Zoom! Shui Yun's body disappeared at the same time, too. Where are they? All the warriors watching this incomparable battle were confused. But suddenly, at the very center of the plain, a terrifying sword light that could tear apart the heaven and earth collided with a blood-red blade that could swallow the universe. Suddenly, the sky split and the ground cracked. Chapter 166, The Unprecedented Battle. Chapter 166, The Unprecedented Battle. Those warriors who were still in confusion could only hear a loud, deafening roar, which almost broke their eardrums, and then everyone immediately looked towards the source of the sound. A long sword could be seen in a violent confrontation with the blood-red blade, causing the whole area to vibrate. A surge or ripples radiated out, immediately spreading to the surrounding area. Rumbled, everything was swept away by the blast. Even the dirt was being carried away with the gusts of wind. As for the warriors that were far away from the Cloud Mountain range, they felt a raging wind sweeping past them, while some warriors with weak strength were even pushed around by the blast of wind. The edge of the Cloud Mountain range, where they stood, was a kilometer away from the place where Jian Wushuang and Shui Yun were fighting. Yet, the energy fluctuation generated by their confrontation could even knock some of them down from such a great distance. If they were within 100 meters, or even closer, what would this scene look like? In the place where the battle was taking place, Jian Wushuang looked cold, and his sword essence was soaring. At the same time, his sword arts were being released with his full strength. Shoop! 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 The sword shadows contained great power because the raging fire, gale, water drop essences were combined in every sword shadow. Within an instant, Jian Wushuang slashed out with his sword, releasing more than a dozen moves. Each sword light could easily kill warriors on the earthly dragon list. Shui Yun also felt that Jian Wushuang's strength had improved a lot. At that moment, facing the continuous sword shadows, even he had to be cautious. Clang, 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 clang. The continuous sound of clashes rose, and Shui Yun was forced back about 10 meters. With a sudden flash of seriousness in Jian Wushuang's eyes, the power of the triple kill sword quickly rose, and another sword move struck out. Shui Yun frowned, and then his figure shifted to the side, immediately dodging the sword move. The great sword light missed Shui Yun, continuing to sweep out towards a mountain 100 meters away. Shua! The fierce sword light swept toward the side of the mountain, immediately creating a sound like crashing thunder. A diagonal sword scar suddenly appeared, running from the upper side of the mountain, and then racing towards the other side of the mountain peak, causing the upper portion of the mountain to slowly tumble down. Boom! Half of the mountain crumbled to the ground as the whole area shook. The people who saw this scene were all dazed. What did they just witness? A majestic mountaintop was easily sliced off with a sword move. A sword move transected the mountain. Shui Yun also saw this scene, and his pupils shrank. Within just a few days, you have made such great progress. Sun Yun commented while still smiling. If I did not have enough strength, would I be foolish enough to fight against you? Jian Wushuang said coldly, "Ha ha, it seems that you are confident. Then try my saber." Shui Yun smiled, but his figure suddenly turned into mist and rushed forward. "Darkness, fall down!" Along with the shout, Shui Yun suddenly struck out with the blood-red blade. The whole world suddenly fell into darkness. With a rising sword essence that radiated 3 essences, Jian Wushuang looked up and hacked out with the triple kill sword. Clang! The blood-red blade collided with the triple kill sword head-on. Boom! The ground trembled ferociously, and then collapsed in an instant. The dust in the surrounding area was blown away. Within a moment, a giant circular hole with a diameter of more 100 meters appeared where those two stood. This huge hole had a depth of 3 meters. Jian Wushuang and Shui Yun were standing right in the center of the giant pit. Seeing the sudden appearance of this giant pit, everyone watching the battle couldn't help but draw a nervous breath. Just a moment ago, a sword move transected a mountain. Now, the power of a saber created a circular pit with a diameter of 100 meters and a depth of 3 meters. How could their strength be so incredible? Are they really only in the gold core realm? Many warriors were whispering amongst themselves. Was that terrifying release of power, the fierce attacks, and the scene after their fight really caused by 2 people who were only in the gold core realm? Monsters. They are both monsters. Even the experts of the Yin-Yang void realm, watching from up in the air, couldn't help marveling while witnessing this unprecedented battle. Among them, only a few had reached the Yang void realm. Most of them were merely in the Yin void realm, and not many of them had reached the exceptional Yin void realm. From their perspective, the unprecedented battle below had already surpassed the gold core realm. Not just the gold core realm. Even in the Yin void realm, if 2 experts in the profound Yin void realm fought against each other, they would not be able to cause such alarming destruction. In other words, although Jian Wushuang and Shui Yun were only in the gold core realm, their strength had already surpassed many experts in the profound Yin void realm. They were stronger than most of the experts gathered here. On the battlefield, the fierce battles still continued. A steady stream of spiritual power radiated from the triple kill sword, suddenly rushing out with great force to fight against the blood-red blade. But Jian Wushuang's face turned dark at this moment. This essence, Jian Wushuang noticed that the sword essence Shui Yun comprehended was very unique. That unique sword essence could engulf all the other sword essences, and it didn't belong to the 4 normal essences of Gale, Earth, Raging Fire, or Water Drop. The sword essence was hard to describe, so it was currently being called Darkness Essence. Yes, it has a dark feeling, like boundless darkness. Jian Wushuang stared with eyes fixed. In the sword tomb, there were thousands of sword scars, like a river of swords, containing many different sword essences. Among those sword essences, Jian Wushuang had realized there were more than just the 4 normal sword essences of Gale, Earth, Raging Fire, and Water Drop. There were also some other strange sword essences that he had never seen before. Those sword essences were both unique and powerful. At that time, Jian Wushuang thought that the world only contained Gale, Earth, Raging Fire, and Water Drop sword essences. But now he understood there were some unique sword essences. Currently, Shui Yun had comprehended one of those unique sword essences, Darkness Essence. Not only could it engulf everything, it was both boundless and powerful. What's more, Shui Yun had not only comprehended Darkness Essence, he had also comprehended Gale Essence and combined the 2 essences together. He combined Gale Essence and Darkness Essence with a high level of comprehension in both of those essences. No wonder he's so strong. Jian Wushuang was shocked. Only now did he finally understand why Shui Yun was so terrifying. Fortunately, he made a breakthrough and combined 3 essences during the selection battle. If not, with his previous strength, he would have had to depend on the soul-devouring secret skill to have any chance of victory. Chapter 167, Collision of the Strongest. Chapter 167, Collision of the Strongest. In the air above the area, those Yin-Yang Void Realm experts were also looking at this battle carefully. All of them had discerned the essence Shui Yun had comprehended. The essence realm is as vast as the ocean. Earth, fire, water, and wind were just the most common essences. Besides those, there are many devious and unknown essences. Darkness essence, which Shui Yun has comprehended, is one of those. Though comprehending those devious and unknown essences is harder, their power is also stronger. Comprehending darkness essence means that the owner could become darkness incarnate and devour everything. With only this, it's already stronger than those 4 common essences. What's more, Shui Yun combined the darkness and gale essences, which is even more terrifying. These experts in the Yin-Yang Void Realm could not help asking themselves if any of them could compete against Shui Yun in comprehending essences. Shui Yun was excellent, but Jian Wushuang was no less impressive. After all, Jian Wushuang combined 3 essences. On the battlefield, the fight had already become white-hot. Go to hell! A strange stab from Jian Wushuang's triple-kill sword pierced the air, brushing past Shui Yun. The sword light hit the ground, immediately creating another crater. Buzz off! Shui Yun thundered, immediately brandishing the blood-red blade, which seemed random but contained a power that could devour the heaven and the earth. Even Jian Wushuang had to hold his breath when faced with this attack. Pung, 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 pung. The intense sound of fighting echoed through the whole area, over and over again. The entire Cloud Mountain range suffered an unprecedented bombardment. Huge craters, more than a meter deep, could be seen everywhere. The strong blasts created when they crossed swords swept over the area continuously. The eyes of all the warriors in the area were full of shock, and their hearts were shuddering in fear. The sounds of the fighting were loud enough to shake the entire area. The collisions were so powerful that the experts on the earthly dragon list were afraid to get within a couple 100 meters of those 2. The repercussion of their collisions could easily kill anyone on the earthly dragon list. Boom! Another fierce roar was heard. At that moment, the area seemed to be eclipsed. Then, finally, these 2 ferocious figures, who had already fought for over a quarter hour, separated. Then the turbulence in the air and the trembling of the land slowly began to calm down. Countless eyes were still firmly locked on these 2. But the powerful sword essence and the devouring darkness didn't show any sign of abating. What a surprise! I have never someone at the Gold Core realm in Tianzong Dynasty could fight with me like this. And you are just at the profound Gold Core realm. Your cultivation is actually weaker than mine, Shui Yun said while staring at Jian Wushuang with cruel eyes. What a pity! If we met 1 or 2 years from now, after your cultivation had reached the exceptional Gold Core realm, I would not be able to contend with you. But now, as things are, your only choice is to die at my hands. Really? Jian Wushuang sneered. It's not certain who will die. It isn't. Shui Yun's mouth curled up slightly. Jian Wushuang, you have to be careful of this next move. It's my first time using this move since I started learning this knife technique. Even 3 years ago, when I was fighting with Bailey Chen and Qing Song, I didn't use it. But now, you are qualified to see it. Earth Splitter is the name of this move. Following Shui Yun's voice, the blood-red blade in his hands was lifted up slowly. At the same moment, a terrifying darkness radiated from him again, as that blood-red blade was raised over his head. Suddenly, the darkness fell, and the entire sky lost its light, while only a scarlet light sparkled in the endless dark. This scarlet light was the blood-red blade of Shui Yun. A shocking and dreadful power gathered in this blood-red blade. The countless warriors outside the Cloud Mountain range were alarmed when they felt this power. Even the experts of the Yin-Yang void realm up in the air felt a shudder of horror. They felt that this move Shui Yun was about to use could easily kill them as well. This power, fearsome. Standing side by side with grave faces, Yang Zixuan and Su Ro felt this dreadful power. Su Ro's eyes were full of worry, while this frightening power was fermenting as the target Jian Wushuang felt an unprecedented pressure surging toward him. Under this pressure, instead of being in a panic, he seemed to be inexplicably excited. A towering battle intent raged in his eyes. At this moment, the invisible sword soul in his mind trembled tempestuously, and a series of powerful sword essence erupted, shocking all living beings in this world. As Jian Wushuang held his triple-kill sword above his head, he seemed like an ancient, peerless sword master. This sword essence suppressed all living things. Only the idealism, only the solipsism. I'm the king of this world. I grasped the second move of the selfless sword technique just now. Let me test its power on you. A gleaming light flashed in Jian Wushuang's eyes. The sword, which had already gathered enough power, furiously chopped out without warning. Meanwhile, the only light in the darkness, the blood-red blade, immediately hacked out as well. Instantly, two massive and horrifying forces, which could easily kill those in the profound gold core realm, fiercely collided in the air. It felt like a collision between two stars. All of a sudden, the entire world began to swing violently. With a rumbling noise, landslides occurred on more than 10 of the mountains in the Cloud Mountain range, with tons of debris flooding the area. At the place where the forces had collided, the energy formed a substantial blast wave, shooting out all directions at a visible speed, extending to the border of the Cloud Mountain range. Oh no! The numerous warriors on the border of the Cloud Mountain range changed their countenance when they saw the terrifying blast wave containing a horrendous power that was coming towards them. Hurry! We have to stop this blast wave, a captain of the Royal Guards shouted. Then dozens of Royal Guards, who maintained order around the outskirts of the Cloud Mountain range, immediately took action. Though these Royal Guards were only in the exceptional Gold Core realm, they had a tacit understanding with each other. If dozens of them worked together, a common attack from the initial Yin Void realm could easily be stopped. But the result was that terrifying blast wave swept over those Royal Guards in an instant without any resistance. Puff, 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 puff. At this time, dozens of Royal Guards spat blood, immediately retreating. In the end, this blast wave was stopped by the Golden Armor General in the Yang Void realm. Chapter 168. You're done. Chapter 168. You're done. Shocked, almost 100,000 startled warriors were gathered at the edge of the Cloud Mountain range. The mere wave generated by the collision could easily sweep away tens of Royal Guards. What did that mean? In the Cloud Mountain range, when the two overwhelming attacks collided with each other, the two people involved in the head-on collision instantly bore the huge impact, but were immediately knocked back. Bang! 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 Jian Wushuang's figure flew through the air like a meteor at an amazing speed while tumbling, smashing against the ground 4 times in a row. Every time he smashed into the ground, it cracked, but his figure was still crazily hurtling. Finally, he heavily smashed into the side of a mountain, which was hundreds of meters away from his original position. Bang! The mountain abruptly shook, causing a small landslide. Jian Wushuang was embedded in the mountain, with a thick mouthful of blood quickly spurting out. On the other side, Shui Yun also suffered. He was also thrown hundreds of meters back, sliding to a stop on the ground due to the gravel. He also spit out blood, with a completely pale complexion. How severe? The collision resulted in them both suffering injuries, and neither one of them gaining an advantage or feeling good about the outcome. Up in the air, the Yin-Yang Void Realm experts suddenly became quiet. They looked down at the two injured people with astonished eyes. What they displayed just now were original sword and saber techniques, right? A purple-robed woman who had reached the exceptional Yin Void Realm asked startlingly, original blade techniques. After hearing those words, these experts couldn't calm down anymore. This was different from those ordinary sword skills. Original sword techniques involved the legendary origin. Even these Yin-Yang Void Realm experts were unlikely to comprehend the origin. Thus, the power of an original sword technique was far stronger than that of an ordinary sword skill. Like the formless sword art, why was it known as the top sword skill in Tianzong Dynasty? Because the formless sword art was the only original sword technique in Tianzong Dynasty. It was common knowledge that the formless sword art contained 9 moves. Actually, those who learned the history of formless sword art knew it contained 10 moves. The 10th move was the strongest and most terrifying because it involved the origin. But just now, what had they seen? They saw 2 different blade skills involving the origin used at the same time. Both the amazing sword skill displayed by Jian Wushuang just now and the devastating saber move displayed by Shui Yun were obviously blade skills involving the origin. How could they not be shocked? Sitting at the center of these experts, she suddenly mumbled and then looked down at them immediately. These 2 little guys should compete again. Exactly. Again. Jian Wushuang's battle intent didn't weaken at all. And Shui Yun's overwhelming aura didn't weaken at all either. Although they received serious injuries in the collision, they were able to continue fighting. At that time, they stood up again and slowly walked toward each other. They kept walking, halted at a distance of 100 meters away from each other. While preparing to fight again, they didn't say anything and just glanced at each other. At this point, Shui Yun became startled and attached more importance to dealing with Jian Wushuang. He didn't expect both he and Jian Wushuang to suffer a lot of injuries after he used his strongest move. Come on, Jian Wushuang growled in a low voice and strode forward. He had to admit that Shui Yun's strength was definitely fierce. Shui Yun was an exceptional genius as well as a peerless expert. However, Shui Yun came from Blood Feather Tower, with which he had a blood feud with. Thus, there was no room for him to compromise with Shui Yun. One would live, one would die. Boom. In an instant, a terrifying roar sounded again as they attacked. The sword shadows rushed forward, one after the other, and each of the blade flashes were swallowing everything, which were both displayed in a perfect way. The violent, frantic, and fierce battle shocked everyone who was watching. Are they still fighting? How can they continue fighting like this? Both of them are lunatics, total lunatics, monsters. With a number of astonished eyes watching, they kept fighting for another half hour. After fighting for a while, Jian Wushuang and Shui Yun separated again. At this moment, the calmness and confidence had already disappeared from Shui Yun's face. The disdain had also vanished from his eyes, leaving him with only fear, curiosity, and puzzlement. Now his whole body was soaked with sweat, and even his hands were slightly trembling. His overwhelming aura had weakened greatly. How is this possible? How can this be? Shui Yin fiercely stared at Jian Wushuang. Standing in front of him, Jian Wushuang also looked exhausted, but compared to Shui Yun, Jian Wushuang was obviously more energetic, still radiating a vigorous sword essence. So, are you feeling curious and puzzled? Why am I still so energetic after such a long period of fighting? Jian Wushuang said while wiping the sweat off his forehead and coldly looking at Shui Yun. There was a dark cloud cast over Shui Yun's face. This was exactly what he wanted to ask. The long period of battle between them consumed their physical strength, as well as a massive amount of their spiritual power. But he had reached the peak of the Gold Core realm, and he cultivated a special and extraordinary cultivation method that made his spiritual power twice as strong as other warriors in the Gold Core realm. That was why he had been willing to continue fighting so fiercely with Jian Wushuang. He believed that by extending the fight for a long period, he could make Jian Wushuang expend his spiritual power and then kill him. But what was the result? In the long period of battle, Shui Yun consumed 80% of his spiritual power, while Jian Wushuang was still in good condition, even though his aura had greatly weakened. You are only a warrior in the profound Gold Core realm. How can your spiritual power be so strong? Shui Yun thundered in a low voice. More than one person has asked me that. Jian Wushuang looked at Shui Yun calmly and said, "The answer is simple. My cultivation method is more terrifying than you can imagine. Although I'm a warrior in the profound Gold Core realm, I have much stronger spiritual power than you, a peak Gold Core realm warrior. Now, you have consumed at least 80% of your spiritual power, but I have used no more than 30%. Your power will run out soon. Therefore, you're doomed." Chapter 169, Prevention. Chapter 169, Prevention. You're doomed. It was a simple statement, but it seemed to sentence Shui Yun to death. You want to kill me? Shui Yun sneered and continued, "I admit that I have lost, but who can prevent me from escaping if I want to?" Having finished his words, Shui Yun leapt up and was about to glide towards the border of the Cloud Mountain range. He's running away. Shui Yun is escaping. Seeing this, the warriors who witnessed the battle were all shocked. Shui Yun escaping in public meant he lost this battle. He had been ranked first on the earthly dragon list for several years, which could be called a myth of invulnerability, but now it had been broken by Jian Wushuang. Escaping? Jian Wushuang sneered. "You think I didn't expect that before I started? You are right. With your strength, I can't stop you if you want to escape, but there is a person who can." "Fourth sister," Jian Wushuang shouted with a low voice, and then an emasculate girl immediately appeared in front of Shui Yun. Her. Many people already knew she was Su Ro. In this selection battle, there were several experts who were never on the earthly dragon list that suddenly appeared and displayed astonishing strength, such as Yang Zishuan. Su Ro was another one who performed excellently in the selection battle. At this moment, Su Ro was blocking Shui Yun's escape. "You think you can stop me on your own?" Shui Yun sneered, and then unrelentingly slashed his blood-red blade towards Su Ro. "Go to hell." Shui Yun looked diabolic. The slash he just displayed made the whole world darken again. However, Su Ro stood in front of Shui Yun with a solemn look on her face. The moment Shui Yun slashed out with the blood-red blade, there was a terrifying aura released from her body. Regarding the level of power, the aura was as high as the dark aura released from Shui Yun at his peak. A light suddenly flashed in Su Ro's eyes. Rumble. A surging aquamarine energy formed into a torrent, then fiercely rushed forward with an incredible force. Shui Yun slashed towards the torrent with his blood-red blade, but there was no place for the blade to focus its attack. Instead of colliding with the torrent, it was like the blood-red blade was aiming at a ball of cotton. It only took a moment for the power released by the blood-red blade to dissipate. However, the torrent activated by Su Ro continued surging towards Shui Yun without losing any speed. How is this possible? Shui Yun darkened his face. Shui Yun was surrounded by the torrent. He tried his utmost to resist it, but still ended up retreating backwards 10 meters. If he running for his life, retreating would not be a big deal for him. But now, this opponent blocked him and forced him to retreat. What was going on here? No way. Who is that lady? How did she push Shui Yun backwards? Seeing this, the warriors were all shocked. How terrifying was Shui Yun's strength? It was obvious from the fierce fight that took place that it would be hard for the experts who ranked in the top 10 of the earthly dragon list to resist one move from Shui Yun. But Su Ro resisted his blade and even pushed him back. Seeing this, a smile grew on Jian Wushuang's face. He understood long ago that Su Ro had secrets and extraordinary means. So, before the selection battle started, he asked Su Ro if she had the ability to block Shui Yun. Su Ro replied in the affirmative, as long as his battle strength has not reached the Yang Void Realm. Even if he is at the peak of the Yin Void Realm, I should be able to stop him for a moment. Of course, I can only block him. Hearing Su Ro's response, Jian Wushuang was a little bit shocked. He instantly asked Su Ro to help him stop Shui Yun from escaping when he fought with him on the last day. Now Su Ro helped him. She blocked Shui Yun from escaping and even pushed him back. Shui Yun was retreated, and then Jian Wushuang immediately slashed towards him. Shui Yun, I said you are doomed. You will definitely die here. Killing intent was surging in Jian Wushuang's eyes. He released an unbridled slash with his triple kill sword without any commiserations. The sword shadows flew continuously without leaving Shui Yun a chance to breathe. Finally, Shui Yun began to panic. He was crazily resisting the attacks from Jian Wushuang and looking for a way to escape. But he soon realized that the torrent or energy released from the effeminate lady who just blocked him had enveloped the area around him. No matter which direction he chose to escape, he would be blocked by her. I can't escape. If I continue to fight with Jian Wushuang, I really will die once my spiritual power is exhausted. Help me, Guerrero, please help me. Shui Yun twisted and roared his face like a crazy man. The sound was loud and carried for a long distance. Crap! Guerrero was sitting on a throne up in the air. After hearing Shui Yun's roar, his face darkened and he prepared to rush over. Whoosh! Suddenly, two figures appeared in front of him. They were Palace Masters Black and White from Dragon Palace. Mr. Guerrero, what are you trying to do? Said Palace Master White, smilingly with a cold voice. Guerrero looked upset and said with low voice, Shui Yun is the top genius in Bloodfeather Tower, and he is the personal disciple of the Tower Master. He can't die here. Oh, so you're going to save him? Palace Master White smiled coldly. Guerrero, are you planning to violate the rules of the selection battle? Palace Master Black looked at him coldly and said, Shui Yun is the top genius in Bloodfeather Tower. Aren't the other Gold Core realm experts who died in this battle the top geniuses in their own sects? 10 geniuses from Dragon Palace participated in the selection battle. Up till now, 5 have died, including Qing Tsang. Clan Elder Ouyang is another example. Ouyang Haotian and Ouyang Haoyue from the Ouyang clan both died in this selection battle. All of them are top geniuses. Who doesn't feel bad? However, nobody stepped out to help. No matter if it's our dragon palace or clan elder Ouyang or the top experts in other sects, the experts all discontentedly looked towards Greyrobe. It was true that many experts died in the selection battle, and most of them were elite disciples in their sects. They could do nothing but feel sad about the death of their disciples. After all, they were not strong enough. Nobody stepped forward to rescue their disciples throughout the whole battle. It all depended on the strength of the disciples. But now, Greyrobe wanted to rescue his disciple. Why? Frowning tightly, Greyrobe knew he was not being reasonable, but Shuiyun was a key disciple in Blood Feather Tower. Greyrobe. A cold voice sounded out from Di Shi, who was sitting at the very center. Your Majesty, Greyrobe said respectfully, Shuiyun is the personal disciple of my Tower Master, and he will be the next Tower Master of Blood Feather Tower. The position he holds in Blood Feather Tower is too important, so please allow me to save him, Your Majesty. Chapter 170, I'm taking you down with me. Chapter 170, I'm taking you down with me. Oh, Shuiyun is the next Tower Master of Blood Feather Tower. Then why did Blood Feather Tower attempt to assassinate Jian Wushuang 2 years ago, even though they knew that he would be the next Dragon Palace Master? Palace Master White sneered. Greyrobe, Dishi responded, with his eyes downcast. The selection battle rules were made long ago. No one can disobey them or obtain concessions. Though Shuiyun has a special status in Blood Feather Tower, he chose to participate in the selection battle and will be subjected to its rules. You should have expected the worst. But Your Majesty, Greyrobe wanted to say more. All right. Dishi waved his hand and interrupted him. Let's resume the selection battle. I will take action against anybody who interferes. Hearing this, Greyrobe's face immediately turned pale. He acknowledged Dishi's comment and sat down listlessly. He felt helpless. Shuiyun's fate is in his own hands. At the battlefield, Greyrobe, Greyrobe! Shuiyun had been shouting for some time. He was beginning to despair as Greyrobe had still not appeared to rescue him. Despair. Fear. He had not felt this way since he became the mysterious Tower Master in Blood Feather Tower several years ago. Now, these emotions came flooding back as Jian Wushuang's onslaught continued. His spiritual power continued to be depleted, ebbing away by 80%, then 90%. Finally, Shuiyun had only a small amount of spiritual power left. Shuiyun's eyes shone with unprecedented madness. I'm taking you down with me. Roaring with anger, Shuiyun abruptly turned his hand, producing a scarlet elixir on his palm. This elixir emitted a malodorous odor, but Shuiyun swallowed it without any hesitation. As soon as the elixir was consumed, Shuiyun's dying breath was instantly revived, and his energy reached a new peak. This energy completely surpassed the effects of primordial gold core, and was more powerful than the ordinary Yin Void realms. That's Scarlet Elixir? Jian Wushuang asked, face darkening. He was certainly not unfamiliar with the Scarlet Elixir. When he had been attacked by the mansion of Sword Marquis 3 years ago, the 4 Sword Pavilion elders had risked their lives to save him by ingesting the same elixir. Scarlet Elixir burned vitality to greatly increase strength over a short period of time. It was an elixir that could only be taken once. Because death was inevitable once the elixir had been taken. Knowing that he would die and had nothing to lose, Shuiyun took the Scarlet Elixir to take Jian Wushuang down with him. After taking the Scarlet Elixir, Shuiyun's strength reached a new height, far exceeding his strength at peak condition. Go to hell, bastard. Shuiyun's face was distorted with ferocity. He aggressively slashed his blood-red blade at Jian Wushuang. This was Shuiyun's strongest movement, Earth Splitter. This movement was Origin Saber skill, which Shui Yun had used in his earlier fight with Jian Wushuang in a shocking display of might. Having taken the Scarlet Elixir, Shui Yun's increased strength allowed him to display incredible power in his use of the skill. Crap! Above the void, Palace Master Black and White's expressions changed. Greyrobe had almost given up hope. Now he held his head up, eyes glistening. Good, kill him. Even if you have to give your life for it, kill him. Many top experts looked on in horror. Right before the blood-red blade slashed out, Su Ro gave a low hum and conjured an aquamarine torrent in front of Jian Wushuang. The blood-red blade hit the aquamarine torrent as soon as it slashed out. The immense power activated by the blood-red blade suddenly exploded. Although the aquamarine torrent was able to resist the blade initially, it was ultimately cleaved by the blade, which then continued its path towards Jian Wushuang. At this moment, fear suffused Jian Wushuang's every pore. But in the next moment, he activated his spiritual power to its maximum level. He lifted his sword to resist. Bang! A thunderous noise sounded, and Jian Wushuang's body flew out, blood spurting from his mouth. Soon his breath weakened. Despite his diminishing breath, he did not die from this attack. Still alive, Shui Yun stared at Jian Wushuang with crazed eyes. He stepped forward and tried to slash his blade at Jian Wushuang again. But suddenly a golden figure appeared in front of him. Boom! The figure punched Shui Yun without hesitation. The strength of the punch was strong enough to pulverize a mountain. The intensity of the attack destroyed Shui Yun's internal organs. His breath slowly dissipated. As Shui Yun lay dying, his eyes were filled with unwillingness and hatred as his gaze remained fixed on Jian Wushuang. Finally, Shui Yun collapsed. Shui Yun, who continually ranked first on the earthly dragon list, a myth and a complete monster in the eyes of many warriors of the Golden Core, had died. Quiet. At the edge of the Cloud Mountains, there were nearly 100,000 warriors gathered, but at this moment there was complete silence. Too fast. This happened too fast. Shui Yun's desperate action of taking the Scarlet Elixir, and his death had happened so quickly that the warriors were stunned. Soon after, their attention was diverted to the golden figure who had appeared and killed Shui Yun. Undoubtedly, the golden figure was Golden Armored General, who presided over the selection battle. Golden Armored General had been stationed outside Cloud Mountains. When Shui Yun had produced the Scarlet Elixir, he had reacted immediately, but he was only able to reach Shui Yun and kill him right before his second attempt at attacking Jian Wushuang. Before the selection battle started, I had stressed Golden Armored General's voice was sonorous. His voice echoed through the Cloud Mountains, propagated past the void above the mountain, and finally reached the ears of the peak experts. All stratagems can be used in the selection battle, except elixirs that enhance the cultivation of spiritual power or greatly increase strength in a short period of time. Anyone who violates this rule shall be put to death. Shui Yun swallowed the Scarlet Elixir in violation of this rule, so he had to be killed. Hearing this, all the warriors were shocked speechless. Having said his piece, Golden Armored General bounded up and appeared in front of Jian Wushuang. "Young man, are you okay?" Golden Armored General asked. "I am fine. I won't die for now." Jian Wushuang's voice was weak. As he struggled to stand up, his pale face and blood-stained lips gave away his poor physical condition. Chapter 171, Earth Dragon Lists Number 1. Chapter 171, Earth Dragon Lists Number 1. With the death of Shui Yun, this unprecedented battle was finally over. Jian Wushuang had not delivered the killing blow, but he had pushed Shui Yun over the edge. Left with no other options, Shuiyan had resorted to taking the scarlet elixir so that he could take Jian Wushuang down with him. So it could be said that Jian Wushuang was responsible for Shuiyan's death. With Shuiyan's passing, the spirit beast core in his possession was liberated, drawing covetous looks from the experts of Cloud Mountains who did not have a core. Immediately, a fierce war began. Of course, this war had nothing to do with Jian Wushuang. Soon, the 7-day deadline was around the corner. At high noon, the experts of Gold Core emerged from the Cloud Mountains. Those experts who had obtained cores handed them over to the golden-armored general, while those who had not could only stand aside and hide their disappointment. They had tried to win a core, but their skills had been found lacking. Among the powerful sects, Dragon Palace emerged as the biggest winner in the selection battle. The Dragon Palace had sent 10 gold core masters to participate in the selection battle. Only 5 had survived, with 4 of the survivors obtaining the core. They were Jian Wushuang, Bailey Chen, Yang Zhaixuan, and Su Ro. Dragon Palace had accomplished a rare feat by winning 4 out of 15 available spots to compete at the easternmost hunting. The 15 masters who had obtained the cores and passed the selection battle stood at the center of the arena under the gaze of the warriors gathered there. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Many figures descended from the upper void. These were the powerhouses from peak of the Yin-Yang void realm who had watched the battle from the void. Dishi led the descent, followed closely by Palace Master White and Black, as well as others. Clothed handsomely in imperial robe and emanating an air of benevolence, Dishi's eyes swept over the 15 warriors. The 15 warriors, including Jian Wushuang, were taken aback. This has to be the Tianzong dynasty emperor. His strength is immense. Jian Wushuang thought. He had seen many powerhouses from the Yang Void realm, including Palace Masters Black and White, as well as the golden-armored general who had killed Shuiyan. While they were strong, he only felt slightly threatened by them. But this imperial-robed man, just a glance from him gave Jian Wushuang an urge to surrender. This thought was transient, but struck terror in Jian Wushuang's heart. Congratulations for passing the selection battle. In 2 months, you will represent the Tianzong dynasty in the easternmost hunting, a major event for the entire northwestern region. Dishi said with a clear voice, in the next 2 months, you'll have to practice hard to improve your skills and become stronger. I hope you give even more stunning performances at the easternmost hunting. Dishi paused and turned his attention to the Yin-Yang Void realm experts behind him. I want to make things clear. During these 2 months, I will not tolerate any attack on these warriors. Otherwise, Dishi's words seemed to be directed at Greyrobe. Greyrobe's face fell. Dishi's meaning was clear. This was a warning to Bloodfeather Tower to stay away from Jian Wushuang in the next 2 months. Everyone knew that Dishi had high hopes for an outstanding performance by Jian Wushuang at the easternmost hunting. Greyrobe had to take the warning seriously. Although the Bloodfeather Tower had special status, it dared not disobey the wishes of the Tianzong dynasty monarch. You're all dismissed, said Dishi. The Yin-Yang Void realm powerhouses trickled out of the arena, and the 15 top warriors who would be participating in the easternmost hunting returned to their homes. It was over. The fierce selection battle that had lasted for 7 days finally came to an end. The warriors who had waited for 7 days at Cloud Mountain's edge also left. As the warriors left, they discussed the battle between Jian Wushuang and Shuiyan. That battle had been shocking to all spectators. This battle would be written in the Millennium Chronicle. This battle would also be praised by all the experts of the Tianzong dynasty. The end of a legend marked the beginning of another. Jian Wushuang was now legendary among Gold Core warriors in the Tianzong dynasty. A new legend. Returning to Dragon Palace. There was an uproar in Dragon Palace when the disciples learned that Jian Wushuang had defeated and killed Shui Yun in the selection battle. On the following day, Tianzong dynasty's authoritative earthly dragon list was updated. Many ranked experts had fallen in the selection battle, and previously unknown experts had emerged winners. Naturally, there were many changes in the earthly dragon list. Now, the highest-ranked person on the earthly dragon list was Jian Wushuang. Earthly dragon list's number 1, Dragon Palace disciple, Jian Wushuang. Ha! The third brother. It's awesome that you're first on the earthly dragon list. The 4 brothers were gathered at the manor. Wang Yuan laughed heartily while holding his recently acquired, updated earthly dragon list. Beside him, Jian Wushuang, Yang Zixuan, and Su Ro smiled. As expected, Yang Zixuan said calmly, Jian Wushuang's previous ranking at the 10th spot on the list had raised doubts from the Golden Pill Realm experts. But his current ranking at the top would not surprise anyone. His showing at the selection battle had demonstrated his real strength and achievements, silencing all naysayers. Jian Wushuang had defeated and killed Shui Yun, who had been ranked first on the earthly dragon list. Many warriors had witnessed this moment and were convinced of Jian Wushuang's prowess. His rank at the top of the list could not be disputed. It was perfectly justifiable. He was at the top of the earthly dragon list. There really are many changes on the new earthly dragon list. Jian Wushuang said, looking at the new list. The rank on the earthly dragon list was as follows. Number 1, Jian Wushuang, a disciple of the Dragon Palace. Number 2, Bailey Chun, a disciple of the Dragon Palace. Number 3, Mu Yingying from the Mu clan. Number 4, Feng Yuqian from the Gladiator Arena. Number 5, Yang Zixuan, a disciple of the Dragon Palace. Number 6, Peng Wudao, solitary expert. Number 10, Su Ro, a disciple of the Dragon Palace. Chapter 172, Startling News. Chapter 172, Startling News. Second brother, little sister. Third brother did well, but both of you had excellent performances too, and ranked in the top 10. Wang Yuan was effusive in his praise. Both Yang Zixuan and Su Ro had been outstanding in the selection battle and gained recognition for the strength they exhibited during the event. Yang Zixuan had single-handedly killed Ling Xuer, who ranked 8th in the previous earthly dragon list. Yang Zixuan had defeated him so effortlessly that no one doubted that he deserved his 5th rank on the earthly dragon list. Su Ro's performance in the selection battle had been even more astounding. Su Ro had deflected Shui Yun's blade attack and forced Shui Yun to retreat. Without Su Ro's interference, Jian Wushuang might not have been able to defeat Shui Yun. This made Su Ro's strength clear to all who were present. While Su Ro had amply demonstrated her skills in defensive methods, her limited ability with attack methods resulted in her merely replacing Jian Wushuang's old rank at the 10th place on the list. Our little sister and I are merely supporting players in the earthly dragon list. We can't compare our strength to the third brother, who ranks first. Yang Zixuan said. My sentiments exactly. Su Ro nodded earnestly. Then you two should work harder in the next 2 months. The easternmost hunting will be tougher than the selection battle you just experienced, and the opponents you face will also be different. Wang Yuan cautioned. That's right. The easternmost hunting is different from the selection battle. We may be the top experts in the Tianzong dynasty, but that may not be the case in the easternmost hunting. Jian Wushuang felt slightly pressured. After all, Tianzong dynasty was a small empire. The 12 northwestern dynasties would be participating in the easternmost hunting. 6 of these were middle-sized dynasties, and 2 were large empires. These middle-sized and large empires would have territorial areas and warrior numbers far surpassing that of Tianzong dynasty. A small empire like Tianzong dynasty had been able to produce many experts and even an exceptional talent like Shui Yun. That meant that larger empires would have many talents of their own. I don't know about other dynasties, but I'm familiar with the Cosmos Empire, one of the 2 large empires. Yang Zixuan said, "The Cosmos Empire has more talents than Tianzong dynasty, and their skills are superior to ours. Cosmos Empire has its own list of top gold core experts. Any of the top 50 warriors on that list would easily rank in the top 10 or even in the top 5 on the Earthly Dragon list." "Oh," Jian Wushuang responded, eyebrows raised. Anyone in the top 50 on Cosmos Empire's list could make it to the top 10 on the Earthly Dragon list, maybe even top 5. "Second brother, why do you know so much about Cosmos Empire?" Jian Wushuang asked, frowning. Yang Zixuan's face darkened and didn't answer. Jian Wushuang decided not to press him. "Anyway, we'll do our best." Jian Wushuang said. "Yeah." Yang Zixuan and Su Ro also nodded. The 4 brothers were drinking and chatting in a majestic manner in the Dragon Palace. Palace Masters Black and White were playing chess casually. Suddenly the door was pushed open and a purple-robed servant entered. "Your Excellencies, Golden Dragon Palace sent a classified letter." The purple-robed servant handed them the letter. Classified. Palace Master White and Black were surprised. Palace Master White took the letter and dismissed the servant with a wave of his hand. The servant departed immediately and closed the door after him. Still seated in front of the chessboard, Palace Master White opened the classified letter and read it together with Palace Master Black. Their faces turned grave after reading the contents of the letter. "The easternmost hunting will be held in 2 months, so he should focus on improving his strength to prepare for it. This is an unexpected turn of events." Palace Master White frowned and turned to Palace Master Black. "What do you think? Should we tell him right now, or keep it a secret until the end of the easternmost hunting?" Palace Master Black mulled it over and said, "Just tell him. Let him make the decision." "I'll let him know, since I'm closer to him." Palace Master White rose from his seat and left. Soon, Palace Master White arrived at the manor where Jian Wushuang and his friends were drinking together. "Jian Wushuang." Palace Master White appeared. "Palace Master White." The 4 of them stood up immediately. "Follow me. I have something to tell you," said Palace Master White. Jian Wushuang nodded and followed Palace Master White to a quiet open field. "This is a classified letter from Golden Dragon Palace. Take a look." Palace Master White handed the letter to Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang was puzzled, but his eyes widened when he opened the letter and saw its contents. Only a short paragraph was written in the letter. "We have found out that Jian Nantian has been detained at Tianan Province, 9 Ring Mountain." It was a short paragraph, but it was enough to agitate Jian Wushuang. "That's where my father has been. My father is being held at 9 Ring Mountain." Jian Wushuang's face reddened with fury, and he emanated an aura of uncontained rage. "Jian Wushuang, keep your cool." Palace Master White shouted, but Jian Wushuang didn't seem to be listening. "Keep calm." That was his father. Although he hadn't seen his father for many years, scenes of his father teaching him swordplay when he was a child remained deeply etched in his mind. When his father had gone missing, Jian Wushuang had tried all means to find him, but had failed as his spiritual power was lacking at the time. He could only fulfill his father's wishes that he takes charge of Sword Pavilion, and he had been striving to do just that since then. Not long ago, he had been surprised to learn from his aunt that his father was still alive. Now that he finally knew where his father was, how could he not be worked up? Jian Wushuang, calm down first. Seeing Jian Wushuang's state, Palace Master White shouted again with a special force, causing Jian Wushuang to shudder and calm down immediately. Palace Master White. Jian Wushuang could not help looking at Palace Master White. I came to you immediately after receiving this classified letter. Now that you know where your father is, I know it's difficult for you to calm down and that you'd want to figure out how to rescue your father. Palace Master White said solemnly, I understand all these things. However, before rescuing your father, you should have a clear understanding of the opponent's strength. Take action with certainty. You wouldn't want to fail in your rescue attempt and perhaps even lose your life. Chapter 173, Looking for Help. Chapter 173, Looking for Help. Jian Wushuang took a deep breath and tried to calm down. The palace master is right. I must save my father, but not in a reckless way. Jian Wushuang said. It's good that you've calmed down, Palace Master White said, nodding. Your father remains in custody in Nine Ring Mountain, where there is a strong sect called Nine Emperors Sect. The Nine Emperors Sect? Jian Wushuang asked, and raised his eyebrows. Since your father is imprisoned in the Nine Ring Mountain, he must be in the custody of the Nine Emperors Sect. Palace Master White said solemnly, I checked your background, and know that you've only dealt with Tianyuan Sword Sect, one of the 5 grand sects in Tianyan Province. There are indeed several superiors of the Yin Void realm in the Tianyuan Sword Sect, but their skills are all at average level. In Tianzong Dynasty, Tianyuan Sword Sect can only be considered a first-rate sect. Nine Emperors Sect is much more powerful and despotic than Tianyuan Sword Sect, and is considered a top sect even for the whole Tianzong dynasty. Jian Wushuang looked grave, thinking that obviously the strength of the top sect in Tianzong dynasty could never be poor. So it seemed like an insurmountable task to save his father from the clutches of the Nine Emperors Sect, where he was in custody. As far as I know, there are a total of 8 experts of Yin Void realm in the Nine Emperors Sect, Palace Master White continued, including 3 at Initial Yin Void realm, 2 at Profound, 2 at Exceptional, and 1 Upper Elder, who has been cultivated in seclusion in the Nine Emperors Sect and has already reached peak of Yin Void realm. On hearing this, Jian Wushuang frowned even more. A good 8 experts of Yin Void, all with powerful strength. At his present strength level, he could pay little attention to the 3 at Initial Yin Void realm. He could even defeat or kill those at Profound Yin Void realm with ease. However, Jian Wushuang did not have the confidence to defeat the expert of Exceptional Yin Void realm. As for the peak of the Yin Void realm, Jian Wushuang would only stand a chance against him if he used the soul-devouring secret skill. In Nine Emperors Sect, there were already 2 powerhouse at fulfillment, and on top of that, the Upper Elder who had reached peak of the Yin Void realm after his cultivation in seclusion. With Jian Wushuang's present strength, it was totally a daydream for him to save his father alone. Apart from the 8 experts of the Yin Void realm that we know of, the fact that the Blood Feather Tower imprisons your father under the custody of the Nine Emperors Sect proves that there is a more complicated relationship between them. It's possible that the Nine Emperors Sect has already yielded to the Blood Feather Tower. So there may be some killers of Blood Feather Tower's people in the Nine Emperors Sect, said Palace Master White. Yes, it is possible. Jian Wushuang nodded. He knew well that Blood Feather Tower regarded his father as a highly valuable prisoner, In order to arrest his father, the Blood Feather Tower had risked the extermination of one of the greatest clans, G Clan. So it was not surprising that the Blood Feather Tower would dispatch reliable experts to guard such an important person. Jian Wushuang asked, "Are there any experts of Yang Void Realm in the Nine Emperors Sect?" Yang Void Realm. Palace Master White shook her head and said, "There are not many experts at the level of Yang Void Realm in the entire Tianzong dynasty. Yang Void Realm experts are highly valued by all sections. Although the Blood Feather Tower has staggering strength, they won't expend a Yang Void Realm powerhouse just to guard a person, even if the person is extremely important." "That's good. At least there is a little hope left for me." Jian Wushuang nodded to himself. It would be even more difficult to save his father if he was being guarded by a Yang Void Realm powerhouse. Although he knew well that there was a large number of powerhouses in the Nine Emperors Sect, and even in the Blood Feather Tower, there was still some hope of him being able to save his father. "Jian Wushuang, there is something you must know first." Palace Master White looked at Jian Wushuang and said seriously, "The Dragon Palace has reached an armistice with the Blood Feather Tower, so it is absolutely unreasonable for us to fight them. If you go to rescue your father, the experts of the Dragon Palace would not be able to offer help." "I understand." Jian Wushuang nodded. He had not intended to ask the Dragon Palace experts for help. "Though we can't help, the Golden Dragon Palace can do that." Palace Master White said. Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows and asked, "The Golden Dragon Palace?" "There are many powerhouses in the Golden Dragon Palace. Since the Golden Dragon guards and ambassadors are not strictly restrained, their intentions and actions have no bearing on Dragon Palace. So perhaps I can help you contact some reliable ambassadors and get their support," said Palace Master White with a smile. Jian Wushuang's eyes lit up immediately. "Thank you so much, Your Excellency Palace Master." Jian Wushuang said with appreciation. "Haha, take it easy. I will personally select the Golden Dragon ambassadors who won't let you down. I promise," said Palace Master White with a smile. "Thank you so much." Jian Wushuang expressed his gratitude again. Jian Wushuang went back to the manor, but this time he didn't smile and wore a serious expression. "Third brother, what happened?" The three people, including Wang Yuan, who had drunk with Jian Wushuang in the manor, noticed the change in his facial expression. "Big brother, second brother, and little sister, I need your help." Jian Wushuang said without preamble, "We're brothers. Just tell us." Wang Yuan said frankly and readily. Yang Zishuan and Su Ro looked at Jian Wushuang. They knew Jian Wushuang well, and were aware that he who would never ask for help unless it was something important. "I want to rescue my father," said Jian Wushuang. "What?" Wang Yuan and the other two immediately asked, eyes widened. "To rescue his father." Jian Wushuang gave his brothers and sister a succinct explanation of the situation, telling them about the location where his father was held and the strength of the Nine Emperors Sect. He trusted his brothers and sister absolutely, and did not withhold any information from them. The Nine Emperors Sect has so many experts that it is impossible for us to rescue anyone by ourselves. Yang Zishuan said in a low voice, "Of course, it won't be possible with just the four of us. I have requested Palace Master White to help me invite several reliable and strong Golden Dragon ambassadors to join the rescue mission," said Jian Wushuang. "The Golden Dragon messengers? Not bad." Yang Zishuan nodded and said, "I will do you a favor." "Third brother." Su Ro looked at Jian Wushuang and said, "You almost lost your life to win me the Black Water Lotus. I'll definitely give you any help you need." Smiling at Su Ro, Jian Wushuang then looked at Wang Yuan. "Hey, don't look at me." Wang Yuan waved his hands. You three rank within the top 10 on the Earthly Dragon list, and are strong enough to kill any normal experts of the Yin Void realm. So you're skilled enough for the rescue. As for me, I just reached the initial gold core realm. My strength is ordinary, and any powerhouse from the 9 Emperors Sect could kill me easily. It seems that I'd be courting death if I go. Jian Wushuang gave Wang Yuan a look, but held his tongue. Not long after inviting Yang Zixuan and Su Ro for the rescue mission, they heard from Palace Master White. Chapter 174, 7 Great Golden Dragon Ambassadors. Chapter 174, 7 Great Golden Dragon Ambassadors. Outside the Imperial Palace, in the Cloud Mountains, a fierce selection battle had just taken place, leaving devastation everywhere. At that moment, 7 strong figures with overwhelming auras stood at the summit of one of the lofty giant mountains, waiting silently. Suddenly, 3 dark spots appeared on the horizon and swept towards the figures. Here they come. The 7 figures lifted their heads. As the dark points grew closer, it became apparent that there were 3 griffins on which Jian Wushuang, Yang Zixuan, and Su Ro rode. When they got close to the mountain summit, they jumped off the griffins. Ha! Wushuang! A cool and charismatic middle-aged man welcomed Jian Wushuang with a smile. Your Excellency Yi? Jian Wushuang's eyes lit up. He had known that there would be experts invited by Palace Master White, and that they would be waiting for him here, but he had not known who they would be. He recognized the middle-aged man as Yi Rafeng, whom he had previously dealt with several times. It was Yi Rafeng who had sent him to the Dragon Palace. Wushuang, we meet again. With a smile, Yi Rafeng said, about 2 years have passed since our last meeting. As for that moment, I have to thank you again. Without you, I'm afraid my daughter would have been killed. Back then, Jian Wushuang had run into Yi Rafeng while on assignment by the Dragon Palace. Jian Wushuang had helped Yi Rafeng take care of his daughter, Yi Mei, by helping her complete the task of catching the 2-claw-marked golden dragon guard. Yi Rafeng had been apprised by Yi Mei about what had happened during the mission, and was therefore aware that Jian Wushuang had saved his daughter's life. Let it go, Jian Wushuang smiled. You saved my daughter's life. I have to thank you, Yi Rafeng said solemnly. I believe in showing gratitude through my actions. You did me a huge favor by saving my daughter's life, and I want to repay that debt. When I heard that you needed help, I came here without any hesitation. Thank you so much, Your Excellency Yi, Jian Wushuang said. Don't call me Your Excellency. If you don't mind, call me Brother Yi, said Yi Rafeng. Brother Yi, Jian Wushuang didn't refuse. All right, let me introduce. Yi Rafeng brought Jian Wushuang before the other experts. This is Shui Mingho, the Golden Dragon Ambassador of the Golden Dragon Palace. Jian Wushuang looked at the well-groomed man, whose eyes seemed to possess an unusual magic to make people like him at first sight. Mr. Shui, Jian Wushuang said modestly. Jian Wushuang, the first on the Earthly Dragon list, the recognized first genius in the whole Tianzong dynasty. After the selection battle, people were discussing you everywhere, and I have already heard so much about you. Today, I'm finally able to see you in the flesh. Shui Mingho said, and laughed. Those are Yi Rafeng introduced the other powerhouses to Jian Wushuang one by one. Jian Wushuang soon realized something about the experts invited by Palace Master White. 7 experts were invited by Palace Master White. All of them were Golden Dragon ambassadors from the Golden Dragon Palace and had marvelous strength. Among them, 3 were warriors of the profound Yin Void realm, 2 were warriors of exceptional Yin Void realm, and 2 were warriors of peak of the Yin Void realm. Yi Rafeng and Shui Mingho were the two warriors of the peak of the Yin Void realm. Jian Wushuang was delighted when he realized the strength of the seven experts and felt gratitude towards Palace Master White, who had invited so many strong experts for him. Even though the Nine Emperors sect was the top sect in Tianzong dynasty, they had 8 warriors of the Yin Void realm, with only one of them being a peak of the Yin Void realm. As for battle formation, just Yi Rufeng and the other 6 experts would be enough to suppress the 8 Yin Void realm experts of the Nine Emperors sect. In addition, there were Jian Wushuang, Yang Zaishuan, and Su Rou, all of whom were in the top 10 on the Earthly Dragon list. All 3 possessed great battle strength comparable to the level of profound Yin Void realm. Furthermore, Jian Wushuang's skills were well matched to those of the warrior of the exceptional Yin Void realm. It was enough to ruin the Nine Emperors sect with such a battle formation. The only thing they had to be wary of was the experts hidden in the Blood Feather Tower. Gentlemen, I'm sorry that I can't tell you what you are going to do yet. I'll let you have all the details once we get to the destination, said Jian Wushuang. Hearing that, 7 golden dragon ambassadors frowned, but they didn't mind. So let's go. Jian Wushuang, Yang Zaishuan, and Su Rou departed the mountain summit on their griffins, while the 7 golden dragon messengers walked on air. The group moved directly towards the 9-Ring Mountain where the Nine Emperors sect was located. 9-Ring Mountain was located in the Tianan province. It was well known that the 9-Ring Mountain was the foundation of the Nine Emperors sect. The Nine Emperors sect was a genuine old sect which had a very good reputation in Tianan province. It was said that there were 3 clans and 4 sects, which represented the 7 strongest forces in Tianan province, and the Nine Emperors sect was one of the 4 sects. 10 dark spots silently floated on the void outside the 9-Ring Mountain, overlooking the old sect, which was not far off. That is the Nine Emperors sect. The invited Golden Dragon ambassadors looked grave. Gentlemen, that's our destination, Nine Emperors sect, Jian Wushuang said in a serious voice. According to reliable news from the Golden Dragon Palace, the man who's imprisoned in the Nine Emperors sect is my father. Ah. All 7 Golden Dragon ambassadors looked at Jian Wushuang. I need your help to rescue my father, Jian Wushuang said. There is no doubt that the Nine Emperors sect's strength is very strong. Besides, it has a connection with the Blood Feather Tower. So, some top experts from the Blood Feather Tower may be hidden in the Nine Emperors sect. The Blood Feather Tower. The Golden Dragon ambassadors' expressions changed. They would have been able to manage if it were merely a fight with the Nine Emperors sect. Although the Nine Emperors sect was strong, it's just a first-class sect in the region, and the strongest expert in the sect was just a peak of the Yin Void realm. However, circumstances would be different if Blood Feather Tower was involved. Blood Feather Tower was the greatest killer organization in the Tianzong dynasty. The horror that this organization was capable of causing was known to all. Anyone who crossed the Blood Feather Tower would be targeted by the organization and assassinated. Even experts of the Yin-Yang Void realm could not escape death by Blood Feather Tower's hands. Apart from Yi Rufeng, the Golden Dragon ambassadors looked hesitant. Gentlemen, Jian Wushuang observed their expressions, then said, I know what you are worried about. If you don't want to provoke the Blood Feather Tower, I won't force you to do so. If there's anyone here who wants to quit, you can leave now. Of course, I will be deeply indebted to anyone who stays to help me rescue my father. I will try my best to repay your help in future. Several Golden Dragon ambassadors who had hesitated brightened at Jian Wushuang's words. Earlier, Palace Master White had promised to gift them with items such as elixirs and tomes in exchange for their help. Although those items were welcome, they would not have insisted on getting those items. But getting the favor of Jian Wushuang was totally different. Chapter 175, 9 Emperors Sect. Chapter 175, 9 Emperors Sect. That's Jian Wushuang, the best and peerless genius on the earthly dragon list. If everything went well, he would attain the level of the Yin-Yang Void Realm in future. Once he reached the Yin-Yang Void Realm, he would rank on the heavenly dragon list. His future looked promising if he was given more time to improve himself. How precious was the favor of such a peerless genius! It was more valuable than those treasures promised by Palace Master White, at least as far as these Golden Dragon ambassadors were concerned. Wushuang, my friends, you can rest assured that we won't give up now that we're invited here, Shui Mingho said, and smiled. In fact, he had hesitated when he first knew that he might have to fight with the Blood Feather Tower. Now, his expression showed that he seemed to have calmed down. Yeah, now we're here. How could we give up so easily? Though the Blood Feather Tower has incredible skills, we, the Golden Dragon ambassadors, aren't weak either. Other Golden Dragon ambassadors also started to say something. So now, we have to discuss what we should do next, Jian Wushuang said, taking out a datum. This was the most detailed datum about the 9 Emperors Sect collected by the Golden Dragon Palace, including the environmental structure of the 9 Emperors Sect and the basic information of its powerhouses. After a simple discussion, they made a decision. The Upper Elder, who always practices alone in the 9 Emperors Sect, is the strongest one among all the elders. Since he seldom goes out, his response would be slower. Let's sneak up on him. We'd better kill 1 or 2 superiors of the Yin Void Realm before they react, Jian Wushuang said. Brother Yi, mister. Shui, you're the strongest among us. You hide secretly until we complete the sneak attack. Once the Upper Elder of the 9 Emperors Sect shows up, Brother Yi, you stop him. Mister. Shui will continue to hide himself, just in case reinforcements are needed. After all, some experts from the Blood Feather Tower are likely to be hidden here. We have to do something to keep us safe. Got it. The 7 Golden Dragon ambassadors, Yang Zishuan and Su Ro, agreed with him. Once they had decided on the strategy, they took action. The 9 Emperors Sect had numerous followers. In the sect, there was boisterous atmosphere everywhere. There was a courtyard near the mountain wall of the 9 Emperors Sect, where the perimeter was heavily guarded. Only the leaders from the core of the 9 Emperors Sect were qualified to enter this place. At this moment, a young man in an elegant robe was brandishing his long sword at the center of this courtyard. His motions were continuous, causing light to be reflected from the blade and showing immense power. The young man was using the sword essence of raging fire. His comprehension of this essence showed that his skill was great enough to challenge the 7th level of Dragon Gate. In addition to his cultivation of spiritual power of the exceptional Gold Core realm, his actual strength was comparable to a powerhouse of the earthly dragon list. Suddenly, that young man struck his sword aggressively towards a wooden stake which had been erected in the yard. Crack! The seemingly sturdy wooden stake disintegrated instantly, with wood chips flying in every direction. On seeing the destruction of the wooden stake, the young man looked gloomy. If he had truly mastered that skill, the stake should have been split cleanly into 2 halves instead of disintegrating into wood chips. Obviously, he had a long way to go before truly grasping the skill. Damn it! I've already spent more than half a month on this, but there's no progress. Old geezer, have you been genuinely teaching me, or are you deliberately leading me on? The young man shouted. The so-called geezer was the white-haired man who sat on the stone bench, drinking alone. This white-haired man was not that old in terms of biological age. In fact, he was middle-aged. However, he had messy white hair and a face filled with melancholy, deep wrinkles. Along with the beard he kept, It was easy to mistake him as an old man at first glance. He held the flagon with his right hand, which was covered in calluses. This showed that he had been using the sword for a long time. There was a wooden sword on the stone table in front of him. Hearing what that cold-faced youth said, the white-haired man looked at him with dark eyes and said in an icy voice, "'Cause you are too stupid. Stupid." That cold-faced youth was enraged. He rushed towards the white-haired man and grabbed the flagon from him. Pia! The flagon was thrown to the ground and broke into pieces. The cold-faced young guy pointed to the white-haired man and shouted, "Geezer, remember where you are now. I'm warning you, if you withhold anything when you teach me swordsmanship, you'll never get a good day ever." Though the white-haired man frowned slightly as he heard those words, his eyes maintained their cool gaze. He picked up another flagon with his hand and continued to drink. He was not in the mood to talk to him anymore. The cold youth became angrier and shouted, "You, geezer!" At this moment, Chong Feng. Suddenly a voice was heard, and then a gray-robed elder walked slowly into the yard. "Father," the cold youth said respectfully. The cold-faced young man was named Ma Chongfeng, and his father was that gray-robed elder, the third elder of 9 emperors' sect, an expert of the Yin Void realm. Though Ma Qinghai was just at the level of the initial Yin Void realm, his status was highly respected in the 9 emperors' sect. Ma Qinghai looked at his beloved son. What's wrong? He had become a father at an old age, so he spoiled his son and would try to satisfy all his whims. There were few powerhouses who had mastered sword principle in the 9 emperors' sect, but his son loved sword principle, so he had used his status to allow his son to freely enter the courtyard to consult that jailed white-haired man on sword principle problems. "Father, I've endeavored to perfect the swordsmanship before, but I couldn't make it. Now, under the teaching of this elder, I've still made no progress, even after half a month. He must be fooling me." Ma Chongfeng said gloomily. "What?" Ma Qinghai looked at that white-haired man. "Mr. Jian Nantian, how could this be?" "I've said it before," the white-haired man said in a deep voice, and glanced at Ma Qinghai. "I've taught him, but hopelessly. He's too stupid to understand it." Ma Chongfeng shouted indignantly, "Bastard!" Ma Qinghai's face darkened. He said, "Jian Nantian, watch your attitude. You just need to do what my son asked you to. You shouldn't complain, or you will suffer from the bone dissolving powder again." Chapter 176, Taking Action. Chapter 176, Taking Action. Bone dissolving powder was a poison which could make a person's bones limp and numb so that he hardly wished to live. This poison would not kill, but it could cause a lot of pain and suffering. The white-haired man had continued to drink alone during the confrontation. When threatened with the bone-dissolving powder, his eyes flashed with transient fear. But soon he regained his calm. "Hum." Ma Qinghai snorted and looked at his son with coddling eyes again. "Chongfeng, the earthly dragon list has changed a lot after the selection battle of Tianzong dynasty. I bring you a new one." Ma Qinghai gave Ma Chongfeng the updated earthly dragon list. Ma Chongfeng took it and leafed through it. "Oh, the number 1 on earthly dragon list now is Jian Wushuang." Ma Chongfeng was a little bit surprised. Shouldn't it be the big monster Shuiyin? How could it be Jian Wushuang? Jian Wushuang. The white-haired man's expression changed subtly. "Shuiyin has been killed by Jian Wushuang. You can read the details about the battle between him and Shuiyin," Ma Qinghai said. Ma Chongfeng continued reading just a moment later. "That's impressive. He left Shuiyin no options but to swallow a scarlet elixir. Jian Wushuang is really something. Besides, he is also a master of sword principle." Ma Chongfeng clenched his hands, and a scarlet light flashed in his eyes. Unfortunately, there are no real masters of sword principle in Nine Emperors Sect. The old man is the only one who is good at it, but he doesn't teach me sincerely. Otherwise, I certainly would win a place on Earthly Dragon list with my talent. It is also possible to replace Jian Wushuang as #1 on Earthly Dragon list. Ma Chongfeng looked over at the white-haired man with hatred. Jian Nantian, I heard that Jian Wushuang combined 3 sword essences at a young age. What do you think about his talent? Ma Qinghai asked. Combined 3 sword essences? Not too bad. The white-haired man was still drinking wine and seemed indifferent. No one noticed a subtle and meaningful smile on his face. Combined 3 sword essences and the #1 on the Earthly Dragon list. That's pretty impressive. Not too bad. Ma Qinghai sneered. Right, his talent pales in comparison to yours when you were young. In the Battle of Qinling several years ago, you killed 3 purple-masked killers of Blood Feather Tower simultaneously with one move, and one of them was in the profound of Yin Void Realm. At that time, you were just in exceptional gold core realm. You were stronger than Jian Wushuang. But unfortunately, your Dantian was destroyed. Such a super genius is now a good-for-nothing. Besides teaching young men swordsmanship, what else can you do? Hearing this, the white-haired man's face fell. Yes, the white-haired man was Jian Nantian, Jian Wushuang's father. Before, he was a super genius who had possessed immeasurable potential, just as Jian Wushuang now did. But now, Jian Nantian was in bad shape. His Dantian had been broken into pieces, so he had no cultivation of spiritual power at all. In this world where cultivation of spiritual power was highly valued, he could be called a useless person. And at this moment, Jian Wushuang and his comrades were walking towards the Nine Emperors Sect. 5 people and 3 griffins were levitating above the void, and 3 people rode on the 3 griffins. These 8 people honorably appeared above the void in Nine Emperors Sect. Boom! With a golden dragon ambassador showing his strength in exceptional of Yin Void Realm, the Nine Emperors Sect under the void was in turmoil. Who has come to Nine Emperors Sect? A hearty laugh sounded. Then 5 people flew out from the Nine Emperors Sect to the void. Among the 5 people, 1 was exceptional Yin Void Realm, 2 were profound Golden Core Realms, and the remaining 2 were initial Gold Core Realms. The exceptional Yin Void Realm was middle-aged and clothed in purple robes. He was the current Sect Master in Nine Emperors Sect, Chu Nan. Sect Master Chu, we come from Golden Dragon Palace, and we seek help from Nine Emperors Sect. Would you do us a favor? Jian Wushuang and his friends had hatched a plan earlier. Now the Golden Dragon Ambassador, who had just spoken, was following the script. Golden Dragon Ambassador, Chu Nan looked around and found that they all wore golden dragon rings. The rings on the Yin-Yang Void Realm experts bore the sign of Golden Dragon Ambassador. Golden Dragon Palace was a hegemon and the strongest one in Tianzong Dynasty. Plus Golden Dragon Ambassadors enjoyed high status in Golden Dragon Palace, so all sects would maintain friendly relations with them. It certainly included the Nine Emperors Sect. Haha, so it is. Chu Nan laughed. We'd love to help you, since you've come to us. But what we can do for you? It's a long story. If Sect Master Chu don't mind, could we go inside and discuss the details? The Golden Dragon Ambassador said. Of course, please follow me. Chu Nan smiled and led them slowly towards the ground. Soon they all landed. As soon as they landed, Jian Wushuang patted his griffin, and the griffin flew away immediately. Jian Wushuang signaled his friends with a look, and all the Golden Dragon messengers, Yang Zaichuan and Su Ro, took the hint. You guys accepted a task from Golden Dragon Palace. Chu Nan and other experts of Nine Emperors Sect didn't notice anything abnormal, and they were still talking with the Golden Dragon ambassadors. They walked to the meeting hall, and as soon as they stepped up the stairs, "Action!" Jian Wushuang shouted. Primed for action, the 8 people moved immediately. Among those 5 Golden Dragon ambassadors, the 2 in exceptional Yin Void realm moved quickly, and both of them targeted Chunan. The 3 Golden Dragon ambassadors of profound Yin Void realm also acted, and they targeted the 2 profound Yin Void realms next to Chunan. Yang Zishuan and Su Ro jointly attacked, one in initial Yin Void realm. And Jian Wushuang, at this moment, he was full of murderous intent. He unsheathed Triple Kill's sword from his back, unleashing a stream of terrible sword essence towards the sky. Light reflecting from the blade, Jian Wushuang brandished his sword with great ease. It was the first move of selfless sword technique, idealistic form. Combining 3 sword essences and exploding his power, he headed to another one in initial Yin Void realm. What the hell? Facing unexpected attacks, all the powerhouses of 9 Emperors' Sect were astonished. Oh no! Realizing that they had fallen prey to a plot, Chunan's countenance changed immediately. In a split second, a terrible breath burst forth, but it was too late for him to unsheath his weapon. Instead, he tried to ward off the sudden attack from the 2 Golden Dragon ambassadors with his palm. The other experts of 9 Emperors' Sect also reacted immediately to fend off the sudden attacks. Chapter 177, Attack and Kill. Chapter 177, Attack and Kill. Boom! Like a roaring dragon, the sword light rushed towards the warrior of initial Yin Void realm. There was a significant change in the warrior's expression as he hurried to block the attack. Jian Wushuang had been capable of killing Ouyang Haotian, who had ranked 3rd on the earthly dragon list with a single sword move. His real battle strength was even comparable to that of the experts of the exceptional Yin Void realm. Thus, a surprise attack against a warrior of the initial Yin Void realm was rather easy for him. Naturally, the outcome would not deviate from expectations. The sword light easily penetrated the body of the initial Yin Void realm and killed him instantly. Bang, 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 bang. Several dramatic roars sounded successively, and Chunan and other experts of the 9 Emperors' Sect were beaten back. Chunan was thrown heavily against the wall, smashing it to pieces. A mouthful of blood spurted from his mouth. As for the other experts of the Yin Void from the 9 Emperors' Sect, one was killed by Jian Wushuang, while another warrior of the initial Yin Void realm was killed by Yang Zishuan and Su Ro. Another 2 warriors of the profound Yin Void realm were badly, but not fatally, injured. Among the 5 experts of the Yin Void realm from the 9 Emperors' Sect, 2 were dead while 3 were heavily hurt in this sneak attack. You are so powerful. The Golden Dragon ambassadors looked at Jian Wushuang's trio. Jian Wushuang gave a small smile. He knew that although these Golden Dragon ambassadors had not killed any of the experts of the 9 Emperors' Sect, it did not mean they were useless. After all, the stronger the warriors was, the harder it would be to kill them. It was easy to kill ordinary experts of the initial Yin Void realm, but it would be rather difficult to kill them after they reached the profound Yin Void realm. Go on, Jian Wushuang groaned, and then immediately headed towards the oncoming experts of the 9 Emperors' Sect. This group of experts were mostly at the primordial gold core realm. Although their strength was ordinary, there was a great number of them. In order to save his father, Jian Wushuang would not show any pity to these experts, let alone show any mercy. Kill! Yang Zishuan, Su Ro, and the Golden Dragon ambassadors also rushed out. You guys, Chunan was struggling to stand up. On seeing the scene in front of him, his face turned grim. Ha ha, Sect Master Chu, I'm sorry. Once entrusted by others, we will be loyal to them. One of the Golden Dragon ambassadors of the exceptional Yin Void realm laughed and came directly to Chu Nan. Chu Nan reacted immediately. However, as he was seriously injured from the sneak attack, he was severely disadvantaged and could only resist the Golden Dragon ambassador's attacks with great effort. The other Golden Dragon ambassador and Jian Wushuang's team were attacking with ease, almost like tigers running into a flock of sheep. For a moment, blood mist was suspended in the air and stained the horizon. A fierce battle had already broken out. Several brutal and dreadful breaths had rushed towards the sky. The breaths and spiritual power released from the battle were naturally spreading to the courtyard near the mountain. What happened? Ma Qinghai's face changed suddenly. He levitated off the ground and looked in the direction of the battle. Seeing the fierce battle in front of him, he was shocked. Has a large number of experts broken into the Nine Emperors sect? He said hurriedly. Changes are occurring in our sect. Changfeng, you just stay here and don't go anywhere. Then Ma Qinghai rushed to the fierce battlefield at the fastest speed. In the courtyard, Ma Changfeng also felt a terrible spiritual power wave that was not far away, and his face changed. The Yin Void realm. Is there a group of experts of the Yin Void realm who have come to the Nine Emperors sect? Nine Emperors sect is the first-class sect of the Tianzong dynasty. Who in the Tianzong dynasty would dare to kill our warriors here? Ma Changfeng frowned. As a first-class sect, it had a deep foundation and had always been extremely strong. Throughout the Tianzong dynasty, there were only 7 top clans and 3 hegemons that the Nine Emperors sect were fearful of. The Nine Emperors sect had always been very humble and respectful to the top 7 clans and the 3 hegemons. As the Nine Emperors sect had never provoked them, these clans and hegemons would not look for any trouble in the Nine Emperors sect for no reason. Nine Emperors sect hasn't provoked any strong enemies during this period, so we shouldn't have been hit by other sects unless Ma Changfeng thought of a possibility and immediately looked at the white-haired man next to him. Old man, are these experts coming here for you? Glancing at Ma Changfeng, Jian Nantian did not answer him and kept drinking. They must come for you. Ma Changfeng snorted coldly. But unfortunately, they can't save you. Not only do we have lots of experts in the Nine Emperors sect, just this courtyard. This courtyard is a huge and impenetrable prison. From the moment that you were imprisoned here, it was destined that they cannot save you. Hearing that, Jian Nantian's gaze froze slightly, but he still said nothing. The fierce battle had reached a key moment in the Nine Emperors sect. Numerous cold corpses were lying in a disorderly manner on the ground or on the roof. These bodies belonged to the warriors of the Gold Core realm from the Nine Emperors sect. In terms of the battle formation, Jian Wushuang's team was stronger than that of the Nine Emperors sect. The Nine Emperors sect had lost 2 warriors of the initial Yin Void realm and 2 of the profound Yin Void realm. Chu Nan had also been seriously injured in the sneak attack. Jian Wushuang's side already had an advantage based on battle strength at the level of the Yin Void. As for the ordinary warriors of the Gold Core realm, even if their numbers were huge, they could only buy a little time but not turn the tides of the battle. However, at this moment, with a cold hum suddenly sounding through the void, a black-clothed elder with a lean face appeared, emanating tyrannical aura. How dare you break into the Nine Emperors sect and kill my warriors? There was rage in the black-clothed elder's eyes, and his clothes and hair were flapping around even though there was no wind. This man was the upper elder of the Nine Emperors sect who had reached the peak of the Yin Void realm and had sequestered himself to practice all the time. Upper elder? Upper Elder has shown up. Now that Upper Elder has shown up, this group of intruders means nothing. Kill them all. Seeing the arrival of the black-clothed elder, the experts of the Nine Emperors sect immediately beamed with excitement. But as soon as this black-clothed elder appeared, a loud laughter suddenly sounded. "Ha! Old man Mo, haven't you died yet?" A handsome middle-aged man appeared in front of the black-clothed elder, and the same breath of the peak of the Yin-Void realm was emanated, which was stronger than that of the black-clothed elder. Naturally, this man was Yi Rafeng, who had hidden in the dark. Yi Rafeng? The black-clothed elder's face changed slightly. "Our Nine Emperors sect hasn't offended the Golden Dragon Palace." "Yes, you didn't offend us, but this time we are on a mission entrusted by others," Yi Rafeng said with a smile. "Are you going to stop me?" The black-clothed elder shouted coldly. "What do you think?" Yi Rafeng laughed. "Perhaps I may not be stronger than you in direct slaughter, but since I am here, don't even think about taking action. Try me." The black-clothed elder stopped talking and took action. Yi Rafeng reacted to his move with a smile. Two experts of the peak of the Yin-Void realm fought against each other in the void right above Nine Emperors sect. With the roaring aura, terrible power crashed together. Chapter 178, 6 Purple-Masked Killers. Chapter 178, 6 Purple-Masked Killers. Yi Rafeng blocked the way of Upper Elder in Nine Emperors sect, leaving him no chance to help. Meanwhile, inside the sect, the situation was still one-sided. Go to hell! With towering sword essence, Jian Wushuang's triple-kill sword formed a flowing light and fiercely pierced towards an expert of the profound Yin-Void realm in the Nine Emperors sect. This expert had been badly wounded during the sneak attack. Now, only 70% of his strength was left. However, when he saw Jian Wushuang's attack coming towards him, his eyes glistened coldly. "You are just of the primordial gold core realm. How dare you fight with me? Go to hell!" While shouting, the expert of the profound Yin-Void realm made a vast current of earth essence realm issue from the raven-black long spear he held in his hand. He then aggressively jabbed the spear towards Jian Wushuang. It seemed that even the void was pierced. The power was monstrously strong. The flowing light formed by the sword essence also violently slashed forward. Clang! The two horrible strengths collided and did battle, but it was obvious that the flowing light of sword essence had the absolute advantage, completely outclassing the other. What? The warrior of the profound Yin-Void realm was stunned, and he retreated awkwardly. "Be careful! The fellow you were fighting with should be Jian Wushuang, who performed excellently in this year's selection battle. He has been ranked first on the Earthly Dragon list." Chu Nan, who was engaged in battle with two Golden Dragon ambassadors beside him, couldn't help shouting. The Nine Emperors sect had not participated in the selection battle this time, due to the lack of disciples ranking on the Earthly Dragon list. Chu Nan had not recognized Jian Wushuang earlier, but he had heard about him before, and now that he had witnessed Jian Wushuang's strength, he realized who he was. Number 1 warrior on the Earthly Dragon list. The warrior of the profound Yin-Void realm, who had been defeated by Jian Wushuang, looked cold with violent killing intent. The first place on the Earthly Dragon list? So what? He is just of the profound Gold Core realm. I don't believe that I can't kill him. With a cold snort, this warrior of the profound Yin-Void realm fiercely glided towards Jian Wushuang again. Jian Wushuang curled the corners of his lips, sneering. 3 sword essences were combined on the triple-kill sword, and the strength suddenly burst out. The second move of selfless sword technique. Solipsistic form. Boom. Jian Wushuang had just displayed his strongest unique skill. A fierce sword light raged out with overweening and monstrous momentum. The man of the profound Yin void realm pierced through the void with his dark long spear and ruthlessly jabbed towards Jian Wushuang again. But the disparity in strength was more obvious this time. The sword light landed on the dark long spear. Horrible strength burst out, causing the spear to fly off. The sword light did not diminish, and continued its ruthless slash towards the body of the warrior of the profound Yin void realm. This man of the profound Yin void realm was killed without even having a chance to struggle. Profound Yin void realm? Jian Wushuang coldly sneered. Normally, the top 20 geniuses on the earthly dragon list were on par with warriors of the initial Yin void realm. The top 10 had battle strength near the profound Yin void realm. An example was Ouyang Haotian, who had battle strength matching that profound Yin void realm. But Jian Wushuang had killed Ouyang Haotian with a single slash. Although the warrior of the profound Yin void realm in front of him was more powerful than Ouyang Haotian, Jian Wushuang has still killed him with ease. What an idiot! Seeing these events unfold before him, Chunan could not help cursing secretly. He had already warned the warrior of the profound Yin void realm to be careful, but he had not heeded his advice and had ended up dead. There were not many Yin void experts in Nine Emperors' Sect. Now, one more had perished. This made their situation worse. They were getting nearer to collapse. Above the void, the black-clothed upper elder of Nine Emperors' Sect saw the events that had transpired below. He frowned and shouted in a deep voice, "Mr. Ghost Tiger, please take action, or our Nine Emperors Sect is over." Ghost Tiger. Jian Wushuang's face darkened. At the same time, he noticed several vigorous breaths suddenly rising from the direction of the Nine Emperors Sect. Jian Wushuang, you chose to break into hell where there is no gate when there were roads in heaven that you could have taken instead. Don't think about going back alive today. The cold laughter echoed. 6 black spots suddenly appeared on the void, not far away. The 6 black spots glided quickly and soon appeared in front of everybody. The 6 figures were in black robes and were wearing purple masks. Undoubtedly, they were purple-masked killers from Blood Feather Tower. With the appearance of the 6 purple-masked killers, Jian Wushuang, Yang Zixuan, Su Ro, and several other Golden Dragon ambassadors visibly paled. 6 purple-masked killers, 5 of whom have reached the exceptional Yin Void realm, and there is one of the peak of the Yin Void realm. Jian Wushuang frowned. Jian Wushuang was aware that Blood Feather Tower valued his father and would have secretly dispatched many experts to guard him, so he was not surprised to see them. However, he had not expected that their strength was so immense. Among the 6 people, 1 was at the peak of the Yin Void realm, and the remaining 5 were all of the exceptional Yin Void realm. Such a battle formation, together with the remaining Yin Void experts of the Nine Emperors Sect, could completely outclass them on overall strength. The 6 purple mask killers were standing on the void with violent killing intent. Among them, the leader Ghost Tiger, who was at the peak of the Yin Void realm, looked below coldly. Finally, he fixed his eyes on Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang and Golden Dragon ambassadors, none of you can get away today. Ghost Tiger said coldly, "Kill." Once he gave the order, the 6 purple-masked killers took action. At this moment, a giant hand condensing vast power suddenly slapped towards the 6 purple-masked killers. There is a hidden expert. Ghost Tiger was stunned, and then he sneered. You are just at the peak of the Yin Void realm. On finishing his words, he thrust out a bloody light. The giant hand was broken into pieces. Go! Shui Mingho suddenly appeared above the void. The giant hand had been created by him just now to hinder the 6 purple-masked killers. Jian Wushuang, the opponent's strength is greater than we thought. We should retreat right away, Shui Mingho shouted without stopping. The Golden Dragon ambassadors agreed and violently nodded. They had wanted to retreat as soon as they saw the experts from Blood Feather Tower. Yang Zishuan and Su Ro looked at Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang would decide whether they should retreat or continue to fight. At this moment, Jian Wushuang's eyes were icy. 6 purple-masked killers, 1 at the peak of the Yin Void Realm, 5 of the exceptional Yin Void Realm. With my current cultivation of spiritual power at the peak of the profound Gold Core Realm, I could enhance my power to the initial Yin Void Realm if I use Soul-Taking Secret Skill. Together with Supreme Gold Core, my strength will be powerful enough to match the exceptional Yin Void Realm. In addition, my comprehension of Sword Essence is matching or outclassing an ordinary man at the peak of the Yin Void Realm won't be a problem. Jian Wushuang pondered over his options and made a decision. Chapter 179, The Strong Rescue. Chapter 179, The Strong Rescue. Retreating now was certainly not what Jian Wushuang wanted. Moreover, although those 6 purple-masked assassins had a powerful battle formation, they were not strong enough to make him give up without even fighting. Soul-devouring secret skill, Jian Wushuang looked cold. He had already decided to fight against these 6 purple-masked assassins via soul-taking secret skill. However, suddenly, whoosh, several figures appeared almost simultaneously in front of Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang winced. What? The 6 purple-masked assassins also looked at them. 9 people suddenly appeared, all wearing purple robes and standing side by side in the air. At that moment, 9 violent aura radiated from them without scruple, covering the whole area in an instant. At this moment, the entire 9 Emperors sect completely quieted down. Everybody was astonished, staring at those 9 figures who suddenly appeared. Among the 9 vast auras, 8 had obviously reached the exceptional Yin Void Realm, and the other one was an Yin Void champion. This terrifying group was even stronger than the 6 purple-masked assassins of Blood Feather Tower. Purple robe. Jian Wushuang was a little bit excited. He seemed to have seen the same purple robe before. Among the 9 figures, the leading heavily built middle-aged man looked towards Jian Wushuang with a smile on his face and said, "Master Wushuang, my name is Danjiu, and my young master ordered me to help you." "Danjiu? Young master?" Jian Wushuang grinned. He already knew who they were. Big brother Wang Yuan. Jian Wushuang tightly clenched his fists with a flicker of delight on his face. When he first returned to the Dragon Palace, Wang Yuan had given him a big gift, Lin Yun. Although Lin Yun was a purple-masked assassin from Blood Feather Tower, he was quietly captured by Wang Yuan and tortured in a secret chamber for quite a long time. Wang Yuan's ability was pretty frightening. Inside the secret chamber, even the guards were experts in the Yin Void Realm. Jian Wushuang was very curious about Wang Yuan's real identity. He believed Wang Yuan must have a strong background. Before Jian Wushuang left to rescue his father, he asked Wang Yuan if he would help. However, Wang Yuan said he couldn't because he was too weak. But now, it seemed that even though he didn't come with them, he still dispatched his experts to help in secret. "Big brother Wang Yuan, your friendship will be remembered in my heart no matter what," Jian Wushuang thought to himself. While the fierce battle was taking place at the 9 Emperors Sect, a huge purple cloud condor was levitating in the air not far away, with its wings flapping. Riding on the condor was a fat man who was eating fruits. This fat man was naturally Jian Wushuang's good brother, Wang Yuan. I thought Wushuang and his comrades could definitely defeat the 9 Emperors Sect with their battle formation, but I did not expect Blood Feather Tower to dispatch so many Yin Void Realm experts, Wang Yuan muttered while eating fruits. He had been waiting outside the Nine Emperors Sect for a long time, but he had not taken any action since Jian Wushuang and his comrades possessed the advantage. He had not needed to do anything. But when the assassins of Blood Feather Tower appeared, he immediately sent his experts to support them. Young Master, didn't the Sect Master personally command you not to fight against Blood Feather Tower? A brown-haired elder, who was levitating beside Wang Yuan, said. The elder looked like he had experienced many of the vicissitudes of life. He had several freckles on his forehead, and it seemed like he had already reached his declining years. I didn't. I just had Dan Jiu and several other people block the assassins from Blood Feather Tower instead of killing them. So I did not violate my father's order. What's more, it's just Blood Feather Tower. Even if they are destroyed, what can they do? I don't think they would dare to revolt, Wang Yuan scornfully said. Hearing this, the brown-haired elder next to him shrugged without saying any more. Inside the Nine Emperors Sect, you guys again. Ghost Tiger, the leader of the 6 purple-masked assassins, stared at Dan Jiu and his comrades, who suddenly appeared, with a ferocious light in his eyes. These purple-robed people were by no means unfamiliar to Blood Feather Tower. Just 2 years ago, Blood Feather Tower forced Jian Wushuang to jump into the abyss, and then they suffered a furious revenge. That was definitely the most malicious revenge that Blood Feather Tower had suffered since they were established. At that time, they were indeed about to collapse. However, it was not Dragon Palace that launched this revenge. Although Dragon Palace was strong, they couldn't represent the entire Golden Dragon Palace. While Blood Feather Tower was one of the overlords in Tianzong Dynasty, along with Golden Dragon Palace. However, they did not have an obvious disparity in overall strength. So even if Dragon Palace tried their utmost to seek revenge, Blood Feather Tower could surely handle it. The key reason the revenge was so miserable was the 2 forces who secretly supported them. Between those 2 forces, the purple-robed people were most malicious, and Blood Feather Tower had no way to resist them. These purple-robed people fought fiercely and resolutely, and they had fathomless strength. They made Blood Feather Tower suffer an unprecedented loss just in 2 months. Blood Feather Tower would be completely destroyed if the purple-robed people had not stopped. Now, after 2 years had passed, facing these purple-robed people again, how could the purple-masked assassins not be terrified and fearful? After all, what they suffered 2 years ago seemed to have just had happened yesterday. Oh, Blood Feather Tower, it has been 2 years since we last met, Dan Jiu said, smiling lightly with a calm tone. Don't be afraid. We were only instructed to block you. We do not plan to kill you this time. So you guys had better stay where you are without trying anything. Otherwise, we will be glad to play with you guys. Of course, if we engage a fight with you, I can't guarantee that we will hold back. Hearing this, the 6 purple-masked assassins were seized by rage, and the look in their eyes almost seemed to be burning. However, they had to control their anger, and nobody dared to do anything. After all, there was an obvious disparity in strength when facing these purple-robed figures. In regards to strength, they fought with them 2 years ago, so they clearly understood the strength of these purple-robed people when compared to warriors of the same rank. If they fought head-on, the 6 purple-masked assassins were not the match of the purple-robed people. Go, seek help from Sir Greyrobe. Ghost Tiger glanced at one of the purple-masked assassins next to him and said. That purple-masked assassin nodded, and then he turned his hand down. A baby milk bug, the size of a finger, appeared on his hand. This bug was called symbiotic insect. It was not poisonous nor aggressive. However, it had a unique ability, which was live together, die together. Symbiotic insects were born in pairs, and the 2 bugs' lives were tied together. If one died, the other would immediately die too. Some known sects always use symbiotic insect as a unique method for seeking help. That was what this purple-masked assassin was doing. With a surge of spiritual power and a shake of his hand, the symbiotic insect was instantly cut into pieces. As soon as this symbiotic insect died, the other one in Blood Feather Tower base would immediately die as well. The experts in the base would immediately know that their people were in a bad situation, and then they would dispatch more experts to come.